Everyone, welcome to Games in a Snap. We're doing a bit of a chat in a snap tonight. I say good evening, of course it's good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good wherever you may be. Let's bring in Outfrost. So, hello Outfrost, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm Outfrost. I have been kind of absent for a while from the city's community because I got burnt out on um, mod hunting and crashes and bad performance in CS1. Yeah, isn't that a topic we're going to talk about? But yeah, I've been sort of around here since 2020 and Cities in a Snap, and I'm a proud winner of Lumber in a Snap, the first edition I participated in back in, who was that? April? I can't remember, something in 2020. But yeah, I've played Cities 1 since it came out, and now we're on Cities 2. And in terms of like what kind of stuff I do, I've done a lot of like vanilla building, and I've done a bunch of like lightly or like medium modded kind of stuff. Um, and yeah, anything else you'd like to know?
I think that's a great start for now, and right now we can then move to introducing our second guest. Hello there, Mr. Rufio.
I'm Rufio. Nice to meet everybody. I have a channel that I started about 2 years ago, playing City Skylines since day one. SimCity fanatic since life. Just really into like infrastructure building and building networks, and very excited about what's possible with City Skylines too. Um, like Outfrost was talking about, mod hunting and trying to keep them updated. It was really frustrated in CS1, and I kind of see like the foundation they have for CS2. So very excited to talk about its future.
Cool, thank you very much. And then we will bring in Ernie and his human, EclipseChris.
I'm EclipseChris, and I've been streaming since 2019, very late, so technically 2020 is when I started. City Skylines was the one I was doing, because it was a great way to be able to share what you do in a single player environment to a wider audience live and chat about things. It was a great way to sort of share your builds essentially. And then I've been looking into all these sort of other streams and live events that were going on, and seeing these snap events, which I think when I entered it was lemon pops, was it?
Yep.
And Forever Dream was in it as well, and J Jam Jim and all these other people. And it's like, oh, that's great! I want to participate in that. I think I can do well. 2 years later, whatever, I ended up winning the most snaps events.
Yeah, you kind of accidentally got good at this.
Yeah, I seem to just get good at it.
Yeah, I think, full disclosure, out of everyone here, I have competed against Chris a couple of times, and I think we're 50-50 on win rate, and then I got demoted to host.
Yeah.
It's all right, we're coming for you as well soon. I mean, hi, how are you doing?
I think the longest was like a 3 to 4 win streak, I think it was. It must have been. That was like one of the last sort of times. Anyway, and that's how Ernie became a thing, was because of the Snap events. So I've got to thank the Cities in the Snap, now Games in the Snap. It's a birthing Ernie.
Oh, that is fine. Oh, gotta love the squeak. Can we have some squeaks in chat for Ernie? I know we've just had a quack in
We've
chat.
got Ernie's twins as well, and behind me.
You've got Ernie's twins as well. This is excellent. This is wonder barnacles.
So it's the British soldier Ernie.
Nice.
Yeah, you got to see him. And we got Ernie the cook on the other side.
Wonderful. So yes, because I remember we're going to sort of reminisce a little bit. I remember breaking the former host of this, and then him coming into an interview with me completely already broken. What I didn't realise until I watched back the event was that while I was playing with Pokemon, Chris had not only played with Ernies, no, that was too simple, but rolling Ernies.
Yeah. Oh, that was fun.
That was fun.
A car vehicle reskinned without a car, without the chassis on the bottom, so it didn't have any 4 wheels to roll on, so it just literally rolled over and over and over.
Yeah, there's a time where this sort of stuff will come to Cities 2. I think maybe we should talk about Cities 2. So, the three of you are here. What are your views so far? We've had a few days to play it. I don't think any of us were in the early access. I know I wasn't.
No, I was not either.
No, sadly not. No.
One quick technical thing, Londo, can you try and go into the settings in the call and turn off either noise suppression or echo? It's sometimes cutting you off syllable by syllable.
Oh, right. Thank you. Give me a moment.
Try one of those.
Microphone. Do you know, I am going to... It's not... Yes, you're allowed to do that.
But yeah, none of us were in the early access stuff. I think we weren't notable enough. But sadly, I wasn't. I mean, what do? I stream Valorant and programming, game dev. So not the certainly haven't been in the in the swing of cities as of late. But yeah, playing the game now and having fun with it so far. Although certainly not without annoyances.
Yes, there are definitely some annoyances out of the gate that I think might be holding it back for the masses, right? But I personally think now that I've able to have developer mode enabled, it took it from me feeling like it was half baked to me feeling like it was 90% ready to be out the door. So
Interesting.
yeah, I was having a lot of issues coming into the game and using the road tools, which everyone apparently was having a good time using, but for me it was very difficult. Just switching on the developer mode has completely switched my opinion on the road tool. So it's very interesting.
Right.
I've not seen this developer mode, so I'm quite interested to see what this was all about, because this is news to me.
Okay, to answer your question, Outfrost, there's a switch there.
I'm coming into this from a... I've come into Cities 2 straight from a vanilla, completely vanilla, with DLCs build in CS1. So I have sort of a fresh comparison to, what the unmodded first game sort of felt like, and yeah, no, I've definitely been. I'm definitely a fan of a lot of the mechanical upgrades, the simulation fidelity, the everybody will mention the road tools, and so will I, because even though I'm not a car guy, I will appreciate certainly the ease and flexibility of building all these networks. Very more variety in building density and all these different things. I'm not a fan of the North American style gargantuan service buildings like a high school, for example. But that's I think we're just waiting for some content on that end. And there's actually something on the horizon there.
There is.
Region packs, right?
Yeah, that's the one. The region packs are supposedly
just announced today. That's right. 8 of them, I believe.
Yeah.
God, I'm really back on the news. I haven't heard this yet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, really looking forward to that. I'm really hoping there's some service buildings in there, because there's no way that every city we build is going to have at least speaking of a vanilla experience, because obviously there will be content being pushed by folks in the community, but in vanilla terms, I also can't imagine we'll be doing a high school the size of a rail yard every time we want to plop one on.
Yeah, no, I mean high schools over here don't seem to be that big. Outfrost, have I sorted your issue out?
Your audio
That's
just went
even
completely
worse.
broken for me. Wait, let me see if that's on stream as well. Can you say something?
Chat, can you hear me? By the way, Minxie Rose, thank you very much for that 42-month resub.
Okay, so on stream it's fine, but for us, the
It's
audio
only
from
inside
Londo is giga broken right now.
Ooh.
That's unfortunate.
Right, let me see if that is my end then.
Are you able to like refresh the page in your browser?
I wonder if is it still giga broken?
Yeah.
Yes. It's like breaking up. We're only hearing like half a word at a time.
It's not even a robot. It's even worse than that.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like auto-tune a little bit too.
I am really trying
Everyone, Twitch, not a video call company.
Clearly.
Apparently, they went into this. Good attempt, but having some troubles over here.
Just blame Londo. It's fine.
I think so. I think the region packs, while we're waiting for Londo to get up, I think they're a big addition, right? But I also think that they should have been included with launch. I feel like they're just missing assets. I understand, like, oh, cool, we're getting them for free, but I kind of feel like there's not a lot of variety in the stuff that I haven't tried the European style set, so I don't know the comparison of unique or placeable buildings for like utilities and stuff like that. But I just kind of feels like maybe that should have been together at launch. Maybe it was supposed to be and it just kind of got pushed back. Or what do you guys think?
Yeah, they're putting this out on Paradox Mods. I think that might be a sort of what I'm thinking, like, as someone who's also been sort of around these things in game dev, is like, I'm thinking this might be sort of a way to maybe ease people into using Paradox Mods instead of Steam Workshop, just to sort of have some sort of content there that is high quality and get people used to the functionality. I think that might be their goal, because otherwise I can't see why it wouldn't be like, for example, a DLC package on Steam, or just like an update to the game, right?
That makes sense. It's like a really big onboarding test to get people onto Paradox Mods. It's a good example. It's a good idea.
Yeah, with the whole I'm not going to say bad the release was, but there's definitely been a lot of bad feedback from the release and the state and the performance wise. It does sort of almost feel like a early access release, but not being called that, when it possibly could have been called that and gone down that route, because they're not a AAA game company from that. So it seems like they should have gone down that route more than just saying, here's the game, it's released, but it's unfinished. And yeah,
I agree 100%. Like I was streaming the other night, and Moose came on, Canadian Moose, and he kind of had the same sentiment, which I feel like you have too, is that it feels more of like an early access title, 100%. It feels like it's almost there, and I can see like the framework for the future of City Skylines, but it does feel like in some areas, like the road tool for me, like it's not half baked, it's just not all the way completed.
No, one thing that is missing from the road tool is a simple thing, which is just to toggle the zoning on the road, which I would have thought should have been a thing from base game, but maybe that will come very soon. Who knows?
Remember, that took a while to come in. By the way, can you folks hear me a little bit better now?
It's good.
A lot of things that are in the base game now took a lot of time to come in the vanilla game of Cities 1. Which is always sort of case. Modding fixes a lot of things and adds a lot of stuff, and they've taken a lot of those mods into the game.
And by the way, I'll just say some hellos. So, hi there, Death Fears None. Is this Games in a Snap or Complaining in a Snap? This is Chat in a Snap. But we are having a little moan, a few of us are. We do that. Hi there, Fable Jacks.
We're discussing it. We're not moaning about it. We're discussing it.
Yes, we're having a civilized conversation. Hi there, Army Controller. The platform doesn't really matter. Talented mod creators is key. To be honest, I kind of would say, actually, let's touch on this. Paradox Mods versus Steam Workshop. I am very in favour of Paradox Mods, personally.
I can see it working. I can see people's issue with it. It's just like, oh, whoa, we're not using Steam now. Steam is what I'm used to. We're going to something else. And then people just aren't used to that change. And I wasn't at first, but I can see why they're doing it. And I can see it's only going to improve as go on. And hopefully there will be a bit easier to navigate than Steam.
Personally,
like on go on.
I was going to say, personally, on my end, I really wanted to see Paradox Mods, because now Games as Snap, we can say to people that you have to download a map, and we can say, hey, console players, when the game actually comes out on console, please do download these maps, so we don't have to stick with base game or vanilla maps for games in a snap. The same with sort of assets. We can say to console players, you can download assets. So it sort of evens things up, and I think giving console players, as well as Microsoft Store and any other store they're on, access to the same mods, obviously with the exception of code mods. Boo, but I understand it.
Yeah.
I think that can only be a great thing.
Yeah, we seem to sort of forget that PC Master Race isn't the only platform.
Not only that, I mean, even if you're on Epic Games trying to get the mods, yes, you can get them through Nexus or whatever for the first game, but you've got nothing as integrated as Steam Workshop.
It's true.
By the way, shall we do something fun? Because we've been teasing Chris for a while. Chris hasn't seen developer mode yet.
I'm so interested. So is Ernie. Ernie's is raring to go.
So, I like placing trees, but in the UK we have some trees on roundabouts, and I'd quite like to. Yeah, I'm not allowed, am I? Okay, so if
Are you going to say just a prediction? Is this going to be basically being able to place things anywhere?
That's part of it, yes.
What it was called?
Anarchy.
Yes.
That's part of it, yes. So I've launched the game with something called dev mode, developer mode. So in Steam, in launch options, -developer mode with a lowercase everything other than an uppercase M. Teddy Radco has done a cracking video on this. If I press tab, something big appears, big and scary. If I click simulation, and then I think it's simulation, and I go bypass validation results, if I click that, then all of a sudden, okay, the tree won't go on the roundabout because it seems to snap somewhere else. So maybe I'll hit tab again to get rid of that, toggle all snapping off. It's telling me I can't place a tree there. But if I click... Oh, it doesn't work on the roundabout. Oh, that's irritating. That's one I hadn't tested. That's a shame.
Fantastic, Londo. I'm impressed. This is amazing.
However, what I will... Okay, all right. I should have tested that one. But let's suggest that, say, we want to go outside of city limits and place this tree somewhere. Well, we can do that.
Sad trombone noise.
Yeah, all right. Trust me to try showing something off without testing it properly first. But, I mean, we kind of can do it. Yeah, no, it's not going to go there. But say a building or something, if I wanted to plop a school over a road, I could. If I wanted to stick, I don't know.
The road that you've got there.
Sorry, what was that one? Wonder if a building will go on there. Oh yeah, Firewatch towers go on roundabout. So I can't put trees on, but I can put a Firewatch tower there for what it's worth.
Water tower.
Water tower? Would you like to see a water tower on a roundabout?
That's well, I would say it'd be very American, but roundabouts aren't so American.
Sure, why not? And it's over the Firewatch tower as well, because we can. Let's get rid of the Firewatch. Oh yeah, of course, we've got overlapping items, so it's going to be funny. Is it going to let me get rid of... Yes, I got the right one. There you are, water tower on a roundabout. And yes, if there are things that you can't delete, of course, this will work with that as well. So I think somewhere in this city is a coal power plant I couldn't get rid of. Again, I don't know if this will work now. Oh no, I got rid of it eventually. I managed to delete the right things.
What about a full garbage dump with no repercussions?
Oh, good question. And as much as this wasn't a planted question, that's a full garbage... it was a full garbage dump. It isn't anymore.
And I'm not going to relate that comment to the State of the Citizens, the simulation,
the
Sims.
So,
how they look.
Without it enabled, we try and bulldoze it. Okay, why has that just bulldozed?
Okay.
Yeah, but I did it without that enabled. I did it without Anarchy.
I'm pretty sure that's just a thing in vanilla game right now, and I don't know if that's intended or not.
That feels wrong.
Yeah. It does feel wrong. It's like, okay, let's collect it all and just get rid of it.
Delete.
that
That
does.
was real life.
Yeah, but you can see the area that we've built in, and I'm not going to comment on. This is my first try, so I tried to do too much low residential. I don't know how to play the game, but let's build a road outside.
You'll
Well, we
learn
can't do
eventually.
that yet. But if I again re-enable Anarchy and say I want to build a road outside the city, all of a sudden I can.
Oh, nice. You have to buy all the tiles to get to the outside of the map.
Nope.
Jeez.
So you can cheat. By the way, I've noticed that there's that I've got a nasty cough at times as well. Let's start the simulation running a bit, and let's say, you know what, I've seen this weather, and I don't like whatever this weather happens to be. So if we jump to climate in our magic tab, we can do a lightning strike. Active weathers, no, we could potentially have a look at those. I think back in the simulation tab, I can't remember exactly
Active
where this
weather.
is.
It's going to have one weather, please.
Yes, you can, because what you can do is you can sort of go precipitation. We will override it. We'll override the cloudiness. We'll override the aurora. We'll remove the snow. And that won't change.
Thank God.
Now, of course, we can sort of go, well, the temperature we can override as well. So let's pull the temperature down, like quite a lot, and then we'll add some precipitation in. And we've got snow back. Let's have some clouds in as well. And we've got nice and cold.
That's a great UK-looking city.
Oh, well, if we wanted UK looking, we'd go for about that, I would say.
Raining as well.
There we are. There's the rain. But we could also, go, well, let's have tropical rain, or we could even get rid of a load of the cloudiness, get rid of all the precipitation, and we'll go tropical. And
the clouds just float away.
Yeah, the clouds are just gone, and we have that kind of nonsense. Obviously, fair warning, this is developer mode. You can crash your game. I probably will. I will probably do it, not even on purpose. Time and date, of course, we can change our latitude and longitude. So if you fancy having a map that's, starts in the northern hemisphere, but you want it in the southern hemisphere, cool, we're now in the southern hemisphere, just by changing the latitude, and we can bring it back up to the northern hemisphere. Our citizens are going to be very sick if we do this too much. Yeah. But we can do it. We can do that. You're appalled at how healthcare's run. Shame about that. I don't really care, because this is just a toy city. It's my first one. So you lot can go away. Oh yeah, so we've got warm weather, we've got noisy, we've got cold outside. Literally just gone from cold and freezing outside to warm weather. Yeah. You can do all four seasons in a day here. Now, if that isn't British weather, I don't know what is.
Now, I saw there was also a little bit in there about
Oh,
plopping stuff.
Did you? Did you see that menu then? So if you press the home
Yes.
button, yeah. And then let's zone up a little bit of... I'm going to pause this because otherwise it's going to build quicker than I do. Or let's zone some EU high-density housing. And then if I go house or... I don't know what the building would be called. High density, something like that. EU commercial high, residential high. Let's have a 5x5 residential high building. Yeah, we'll stick that there. Again, we'll stick out on our snapping again. And oh look, we just played with ploppable Rico, and to show that I'm not, making this up, we'll rerun the simulation. And there we have an EU high residential.
Very
You
easy.
can see Chris lighting up over there.
Oh yeah, you can see the smile on his face as it's like, you're plopping
yes.
things. Yes, we're plopping things in this game.
If not many people might. I don't know if anyone who might not be aware of myself, but I'm a very high detailer, and I've been detailing a city for 3.5 years now. British city. And I just can't live without mods sometimes, and assets and things, and being able to plop things down like this is just something I really want
helps
to
a
do in
lot.
cities.
It helps a lot. I agree. It helps a lot. Unfortunately, procedural objects stopped working for me a long time ago, and no
Oh, I
matter
still
what
use
I
PO.
did, it
PO
would
is the main
never
thing.
work.
I've got
So
like 36,000 PO instances in my city right now.
Yeah,
I was just,
people think I'm crazy with PO.
I don't use any vanilla items within the cities one anymore. It's that far gone.
Oh yeah. By the way, welcome on in, Kiggy. You'll join when you're on the open road. See if using mobile and the guest star thing work. That'll be interesting. Hi there, Tings Up. How you doing? Welcome on in. EclipseChris is like plopping in CS2 already. Oh, I'm going to be plopping. Now that I discovered this today. A game from a video by Teddy Radko.
There is a question. Does this work on other platforms that aren't Steam?
I don't know how it would
so.
work.
Because I've
It
kind of
depends.
cheated the system and got Xbox Game Pass for £1 trial for 14 days to try the game.
If you can load up the game with additional launch options, so I would imagine that what you would do, and I don't have a Windows machine with me to find out, but I'd imagine that you just sort of right-click the shortcut, go Properties, and then when it says Shortcuts to Skylines 2.exe or whatever, put -developer mode after that. It has to be exactly like I'm going to put in chat now.
_ developer capital mode.
It works with a single dash as well.
it didn't work
Oh,
for
does
me
it?
with a single dash. I had to do double dash
All
for
right.
some reason.
I will put the double dash in chat.
Double dash pretty much the standard, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, double dash is standard. I just saw that Teddy had done it with a single and thought, well, I'll do it with a single then.
But yeah, I think as long as the other DRMs allow you to, or rather, the other DRMs have like a way to, you launch the game executable, and then it sort of, from there it checks like, okay, do you have the the actual license for the game versus having to run it from the store or whatever. If that's supported, then it should be good to go.
If anyone's struggling with that, hit me up. I do have Game Pass and I do have access to a Windows machine. I will give it a go and I'll see if I can get some instructions up for making that work with Game Pass if needs be.
Yeah, I think I need it.
Yeah. Talking of interesting things, I saw a clip in our Discord from a certain Outfrost about transparent UI. So,
yeah,
I saw this, so I want to try this live. I have not tried this yet. I'm running at about 40 frames a second on this scene.
Try make sure that simulation is like going, so you have
Okay.
like some variation in there. Because what I noticed is like sometimes I would tweak a setting, the game would be completely paused and just waiting there, and so certain settings would affect the scene in certain ways, less or more. The frame rate in a certain scene. And then I would go somewhere else or unpause, and it would fluctuate wildly, like completely sort of in a different spot again, and I couldn't like replicate the same settings again. So
Okay.
the game has been very inconsistent in terms of performance, and it's been a bit of a pain to like see what exact outcome various things have. But yeah, if you run the simulation at least, I think you should.
So we're on 1 speed. I'll actually bump us up to 3 speed. And we're dropping to between 36 and 38 frames a second. Reasonably sort of stable-ish. And then what you say is I go to options, I go to interface. I whack that all the way down to 0.
Yep.
And then back out of that. And I'm still getting no change. Doesn't mean it's not going to work on everyone else's computer. This is just exactly as Outfrost says. This is so fluctuating in performance, and I've sort of tweaked a few settings to get this working.
Do you get a better
well.
result if you pause now?
That's a good question. Let's find out. Because it was running at about a stable 40. No, I get exactly the same as I got before.
Okay. Then it might be placebo for me, or it might have
No, I
a
saw
lot
it.
more to do with like other circumstances in the
Yeah.
game's very complex. There's a lot of moving parts, a lot of dynamic things that the game is
Ooh, we're not having that.
processing and rendering, and so getting consistent and reliable performance numbers is going to be a challenge. And I saw that also in when people just before release were doing the performance evaluations for like City Planet Plays and
Yeah.
there's another person, Acrous, I think is the name, was
Yeah.
doing some testing. And I looked at those numbers they were getting, and I was like, some of these really don't make sense. For for somebody who's like been around the sphere of like PC hardware testing and performance evaluation, kind of content outlets and methodologies. So there's a lot of variation, and for anyone who wants to do like any serious performance testing for Cities 2, it's going to take a lot of work to get it to where you can actually have reliable numbers.
Yeah, I think the way I would probably do it is use cinematic mode and kind of play through a video that you make in this like 3 or 4 times.
So City Planet Plays did that, right? And
this is where I'm wrong.
Even then, the numbers were very weird sometimes.
Yeah.
You would see lower settings on the same hardware. Producing lower frame rate numbers.
I've heard of this, and I still don't get why. We have a question from Army Controller. What is the resource tool in the top left? By resource tool, are we talking about... I mean, I can see... Oh, the resource tool that I'm using. Army Controller, it's called Mango Hood. It's the same one that you use on a Steam Deck. I'm running on Linux, not Windows. Yes, Outfrost Arch, by the way, I'll make the joke out front. You would get something very similar from something called MSI Afterburner. This was very much modelled on MSI's Afterburner. But yeah, you can use that. You can use Mango Hood. I think Mango Hood works on Windows as well. I'm not 100% on that. But yeah, you can. I think
was going to set up
Steam
Mango
gives
Hood
you
on my machine for the streams, but I forgot to, and then just didn't bother.
Yeah,
But fun fact: when you capture a window on X11, you can actually see the Steam FPS overlay. It's tiny, but people can technically see it.
You can see
want to see how it's performing for you.
I mean, I've got the Steam overlay up as well. Can I get
it's in like settings, overlay, and then say like FPS counter or whatever it's called.
Settings. In-game FPS counter.
Yeah.
Stick that one on the top right. We'll make it a high contrast colour. Cool.
I like the UI being at a lower transparency. It kind of gives me like a CS1 feel in a way.
Yeah, there is that. So yeah, you can technically at the top right, you're not going to see that on the stream because I'm playing in 4K. And the stream version of this is at, what, 900p?
Scaled down, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, even on Wayland, that's working well. Yes, I am that crazy individual that's running Wayland. If folks don't understand that, don't worry. Kiggy is saying running on 1650 GeForce and laptop with a 9th Gen i5, it's running fine. Yeah, what does everyone think about the whole sort of performance of the game versus what people have been trying to say it's like? Full disclosure, I can't exactly comment. I know we're getting like 40 odd frames a second on high graphics, but on this machine, if you didn't get 40 odd frames a second on high graphics, I'd be worried. We're getting back to default UI.
It's tricky to really comment on because I mean, it seems to be a lot of people getting a lot of different outcomes with similar setups.
Yeah.
Yeah, the results are very, very mixed.
There we are. We've got lower transparency. Oh, this is much more CS1-like, actually.
Yeah. It is.
You should be okay. Just avoid a 200,000 population. Minx is sort of suggesting, and don't need more than 30 frames. Honestly, if this dropped below 30 into the 20s, I'm used to Skylines 1 with like more mods than one can shake a stick at. So
to be fair, anything's better than what I'm used to in Cities 1. To be fair,
Yeah. No, that was just an expensive PowerPoint slideshow, Chris.
Yeah, getting above double digits FPS is a bonus for me.
Yeah, I mean, to give folks a hint as to what I've done here, VSync, disable VSync unless you absolutely have to have it enabled. Yeah. It does seem to have an effect. Shouldn't, I don't know why. Let's go into advanced. I have got, obviously I'm using AMD graphics card, so I've got dynamic resolution scaling set to custom.
I think that's also supported on NVIDIA.
Yeah, you've got DLSS, haven't you?
DLSS isn't out yet, but yeah, super resolution is supported.
You can't do FSR 1.0 on NVIDIA cards? I thought that's supposed to be like out there.
I would imagine.
AMD Fidelity FX Super Resolution 1.0 is what I have turned on for.
I mean, I'm just going to disable it, and we're down to about 30 frames a second. Do you know what? 30 frames a second at full 4K. I'll take that all day long. That'll drop a bit more though. So we might just set it at a constant, but pull it up to.
I'm using FSR over here as well. 75% is a pretty good setting there. If you set it to constant 75% with FSR, I think, especially if you have like a 2560 by 4040 or larger resolution monitor, I think it's a fairly decent compromise.
It is.
But no, performance. Just kind of coming back to the sort of topic of overall how we sort of feel about it. There's a lot here that I'm kind of disappointed about because, one of the greatest things one of the biggest things that was supposed to be a thing for CS2 after we've been playing CS1 for so long was, better performance with all the stuff that we were trying to do with that game that it was like, in a way kind of not ready for at the time. In a way, it seems like at the moment it's still kind of not ready. At least if you look at it on the surface, right? It's still we're still struggling. We've got some new graphical eye candy, which is pretty cool. I do kind of enjoy that. We've certainly got like a more in a lot of ways, like a more modern sort of foundation, both graphically and simulation-wise. But it was definitely expecting a 60 FPS experience on like, very like moderate settings on a completely, vanilla city, especially early game. Yeah. And that has not happened. And I think that's already, like, from a sort of technical point of view, a bit disappointing because, like, now they have the difficult job of optimizing all these things sort of in post after all the feature development and all the bug fixes have sort of come in ahead of release. And I feel like that might be a bit of a handicap for the engineers at Colossal Order. But, it's still very much possible for them to rein the performance in, and they've already, like, been on top of that since it's sort of since they like said they were having they were sending out the final final release build to the content creators, and then happened, oh actually no, it's not final, here's another little performance patch. But so I think what people have been more upset about even than that, like that has not been like the core thing that actually like made people leave mostly negative reviews on Steam and just sort of grab the pitchforks. The thing that made them do that is that the game, despite being so performance heavy and so just sort of problematic in that sort of way, it starts out at high settings, and not only that, but it starts rendering some kind of empty map behind your menu when you can't even see it when you're in the main menu. So the game starts, it boots up, and you have 5 frames per second in the main menu, and that applies to like you clicking on the buttons as well. I think if you boot up to a fresh game like that, and you have a decent gaming PC, you have hardware that can
you're
run
greeted with that kind of menu.
Well.
Yep.
You go into a menu, it looks like that. You're going to be pretty pissed.
It's not exactly the experience you want. Right, a couple of questions from chat, and then I'll mention why that's really important to me. With a 4080 Army controller saying after the recent patch, your frames went to 60 for a little bit, now averages 45. Before it was 27, so that's a huge improvement. Also asking when the first game in Snap is, Death Fears None is. We're not 100% sure when we're going to run one for Skylines 2 yet. The reason being, with how fast the patches are coming, it probably makes sense to wait a few weeks before we announce it.
Yeah,
Plus,
I'd say wait till the game comes out of early access.
Yeah. Yes, actually, yeah. That's exactly what I said in Moose's stream, is if this were released as early access, we'd all be forgiving it. By the way, we are coming into a Season 2 of Games in a Snap, so obviously we're going to change the colouring round because that just looks better, I think. So now I've got everyone looking at the stream to see that it looks like that. I mean, we'll do the fade again, so, that's where we were. But I just think, we go to Season 2, we're going to change some rules, we'll do Snap After Dark.
Yeah. Minxie's right. It's not perfect, but it certainly is playable.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say, we've got a little bit more of a muted colour palette going on there. So that's a sneaky peek. We'll go back to the Season 1 colouring for now. But that's a sneaky peek at, we are changing things up. May not be perfect, but perfectly playable. Yeah, 100%. I absolutely agree. Which is where an early access game should be. An early access game should be missing a few features, not entirely optimised, but entirely playable. Satisfactory is a perfect example of that. They've got early access absolutely right, and they're killing it. Darkest Dungeon 2 did a similar trick. Valheim, I believe. I've got it. I haven't really played it.
Oh, you should. It's nice.
I haven't got time. Trust me. Even organising tonight was a pain, and I had, we had help from Minxie did a load.
Out, there's no time.
Kiggy did a load. One Nerdy Squirrel did a load. And I still don't have time to do anything. Oh, look, there's an autosave. I like how the autosave just drops your graphics quality for a while. It's like, no, we're going to very low.
Going back to what Outfrost was sort of saying, people were expecting a lot from this game when it was coming up to release it, seeing all these dev diaries and everything, getting all hyped about it, and then receiving it, they were let down. In a lot of ways, but I think the game, after playing it for a couple of days now, it is actually better than what I initially went into it like.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, mostly I'm not looking at the citizens' faces anymore, or going in and looking at any of the finer details, which I'm very used to doing.
I haven't looked at the citizens' faces yet. Am I in for a treat?
Please do.
Please.
Let's just see if I can build sort of.
You have to go in camera mode.
That's a nice little key wally thing. Okay, so
go find
I just
some
wanted to
eyeballs.
play with that. Have I got to go into camera mode and play?
Having looked at the kids is hilarious.
Kidults. These kidults.
Let's see if we can find any
especially
sims.
people that are wearing t-shirts. I mean, technically they're not wearing t-shirts.
The t-shirt is the top.
Yes. Find a family home or something as well.
Right. Well, this is the first human I've seen. Let's sort of. I should actually have done something smarter than this. Should have paused it first.
It's a good-looking specimen. Oh, no, there you go. It looked like an alien.
Yeah, I really should pause it, and then we should look for
a family home, somewhere in the suburbs.
Do you have anybody in your favorites list?
No,
Are you tracking any citizens?
I have not done stalking yet.
One thing I've not. Can you rename citizens?
You can stalk. Yeah, they built a stalking feature.
Can you rename them though?
Yeah.
Yes. You can rename them and their whole family.
Oh, video ideas incoming.
I'm going to be naming every citizen Ernie. Yeah.
And did he drive the fastest milk float in the West?
Maybe.
Oh, come on, there's got to be a family around here.
You can name the fun thing I noticed, like in a systemic way, is like I'm a big systems guy for some reason. Is when you rename a street and then you look at houses, they update their street name along with the number.
All right.
I love seeing the distance. I love seeing the
when the
distance
businesses
too.
chirp about it, like, hey, new jobs, or like, hey, come check out our place at
They did?
so and so. They mentioned the new updated address.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I see.
I've literally just renamed this road to Minksy Way. I'll rename Bedford Street. So we've got an address 287 Bedford Street. If I rename Bedford Street to be something else, Ernie Avenue, and then all of a sudden that is 287 Ernie Avenue. I like that attention to detail, people.
Yep.
That's impressive.
That's a next gen game right there.
As a systems person, like I'm similar to Outfrost in that one. Yes, that is a
That one.
oh
is this
hello
one?
person.
You might find people in
Found
their
a
gardens
person.
as well.
Right.
Rejoice.
I think that's one of the better looking people, to be fair.
That's
They
one of
have
the
a
better
surprising-
looking
okay.
ones.
Here's the thing, right? Zoom in
Yeah,
on
that's
the
a
back
better
of the
looking-
hair.
Yes.
Zoom in on the back of the hair, because there is a absolutely staggering amount of detail here for a city building game, to the point where I think it might actually be detrimental.
It is.
Can
No,
I,
it is.
It is.
So these
is.
definitely for rendering, these definitely get LOD'd back when you zoom out.
No,
So
they
you're not
don't.
seeing all of those triangles all the time when you're zoomed all
I
the way out.
don't believe
However,
they do.
No, I'm hearing from Moose that it's 30,000 triangles rendered at all times.
I don't believe that
Oh.
they're rendered out. You know,
Yeah.
I
Oh, then
believe that
that's a
they're
big
still
problem.
rendered.
Yes.
I
Their
was,
hair.
so I was
They
They
giving
have
them the benefit
multiple
of
hair
doubt.
textures. No, don't. Please don't.
I was giving them the benefit of doubt, thinking, okay, they've done the sensible thing.
No, it's worse than that. You know how you can't see
Yeah.
the teeth? All the teeth are being rendered.
Still.
Yeah, they're in there, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Look
an
at
Unreal
all the
Engine
hair
moment for
layers.
sure.
Yeah, it is.
That's like the sort of signature, like,
on the
hey
left-hand
guys,
side,
I made a
Microsoft.
game in Unreal Engine in 2 weeks, and it's a kid bash that runs at
Look at
1
that
frame per
face.
minute.
Oh, that's a beautiful face right there.
That's
Look at all the detail in that hair.
Like
That's
I
crazy.
love I love that they have good looking models now, and they're so detailed, but
But the thing is, they
certainly
used-
this screams expensive.
Yes.
The thing is, they've used
Look at
that
that
same
hair.
face model for some of the children as well, so they've got the same faces.
no.
People would be here's like a thing of perspective, right? Because when you're designing a game and you're like thinking about the sort of scope that you need to incorporate, or like this you think about the
That's
scope of your
graphic
game.
art, by the way.
The like you can think about, like, okay, what things are necessary for this game to succeed? What are people going to pay attention to? What's going to be like, what's the core of the gaming experience, and how do we make that better? And if you really think about it, if these citizens looked like Minecraft Steve, or almost like Minecraft Steve,
Fine.
people would be playing this game. People would be making fun of, hey, look at all these beautiful buildings and pretty cars and buses and all that, and then look at this dumb citizen with a sphere for a head, and they would still be enjoying the game a lot.
Yeah.
And I feel like
Yeah, it would be a meme, but it'd be funny.
it would be a meme, but people would absolutely still enjoy the game, and that's like not something that you pay €60 or however much the game is, and you zoom in and see, oh, the citizen is just like a blob, and I mean, you can get hung up on that, but if that helps the game, if that helps you keep the sort of art scope down, and if that helps you keep performance up, I feel like people are definitely going to look past that, right?
Are they relaxing or are they dead?
Hello there, sir and or madam. You seem to be missing some appendages.
She looks pain.
That looks painful. And I don't know, is that one of them neckwear speakers, or is that supposed to be a fur coat? Or
I think it's a coat.
I think it's part of the
it's a coat,
coat.
yeah.
Yeah.
With a scarf potentially.
ah, yeah, that's fair. Here's me going for the high tech one. Hello there, sir and or madam. Do you?
I've sent you a couple of pictures in your Discord. I don't know if you're able to see them or show them.
I
Good
mean,
morning,
I
citizen.
can't show. Oh my word! I can't show these, but
You can probably
Oh.
find citizens.
oh, that's special. So yeah, okay. I mean, we can harp on about this for a while. Hey there, Andrew. How you doing? Welcome on in. Kiggy is loving the way industries work now. That's excellent. Rest Triple 3X is saying one of the problems of Cities 1 base game is the natural resources have been depleted very quickly. How is it now in City Skylines 2? Natural resource depletion. Has anyone any experience with that? I haven't noticed anything.
What I heard, or what I saw being posted, as I can't remember if it was from CO or if it was from someone who had, one of the creators who had early access had experience with it. But I believe it's resources like oil and ore will deplete, but much slower. So they will stay there for much longer. Timber and fertile land are obviously renewable. Wood and fertile land are renewable. They don't deplete. And then I believe the groundwater reservoirs are renewable as long as you don't overpump them.
Yeah.
Yes, I did hear that if you overpump them, you get problems.
Happens with a lot of things.
So oil and ore will run out, but much slower than
I
the
heard
first
that,
game.
Chris. Okay, what's this here? I don't know what this is.
That's the path glitching into the floor.
Yeah, but I don't think I even put a path there.
Sure. Oh.
It looks like your terrain's slightly higher.
What if you hover that with a bulldoze tool? What does that say?
It says nothing.
Oh.
It doesn't
Splendid.
say anything. Okay. Now hang on.
Could be the base plates from the building across the street glitching through, but I don't know why they would be on the other side of the street.
That's what it kind of looks
I
like.
haven't seen that yet.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's cover some of this up with a bit of concrete, shall we? Now it's snapping there.
Oh yes, I didn't see this before. This is great.
Cool.
I don't have to paint anymore.
Unfortunately, you can't do curves with this. But frankly,
Yes.
I don't really care that much.
You can unsnap it and approximate curves pretty well there.
Yeah, I mean, you can do.
That's beautiful. Wow. That's so good.
Just a polygon of concrete. Let's go. That's what we needed.
Yeah, I mean, there's a fair approximation for a curb. I mean, I can't demolish it now.
Oh, you can't. It's stuck there forever.
Permanent fixture.
I mean, you say it's a permanent fixture.
Well, yeah, you just didn't see.
It's just.
Okay, that wasn't the surface I wanted.
So it's just an infinite number of layers. Interesting.
Nor was that. I'm giving up on this, he says.
But if that is a case where you can actually overlay things and they don't interfere with each other.
That's very
That could
cool,
be
though. You can
really
choose a
good.
Z index. Yeah.
It could be really good for decals down the line for modding.
Yes, it
Because
could.
with Series 1, they always glitch to each other when you place them down. And it was really hard to be able to lay things on top of each other to get a good texture.
That only worked because I got bypass validation results on still.
Of course, yeah, but yeah, if it's a thing to, I don't know, maybe.
But
Modding
yeah.
solves everything. That's what I find out, especially when keyboard's involved.
Yes.
Oh, I said his name. He's going to appear.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Here we go. And Andrew is making dirty jokes. This isn't going to work. This is just going to become even worse, isn't it? Fortunately, this is not a city I care about. So, what do you mean overlapping items? Oh, you mean overlapping items? Okay, you don't anymore. That's agriculture. Oh, we can. What I will say though, positively, is look at the funky angles I've got on the concrete, and unlike surface painter in Skylines 1, where it all had to align to a grid, and if you were at a weird angle, it'd get all weird on you. The sharp lines are sharp.
It gets weird with the if you drag a gravel road, and the edges of the gravel road are sharp. That one I don't particularly like, but other than that, pretty good.
So a gravel road.
Oh yeah, so it is.
Oh, that's That's a thing.
That bit actually did look better in the first game.
That, yeah.
Surprisingly.
There's none of
I don't mind
blending,
the graphical style, but it being so sharp, it kind of takes
Yeah.
away from. You know how I like? Do you you probably don't remember? Nobody does. Why would they? But in the I used some really nifty gravel and dirt roads in the lumber build for the first cities in a snap I did, and so all like sort of weaved those through the forests, for the forestry trucks and whatnot to run along. They looked really good in the forest, between the trees and just snaking the way up a hill and across. And it doesn't quite have that same effect over here. Obviously, the trees look so much better in CS2, except the pines. I don't understand the pines. Somebody should go back and redo the pine model. I don't why. But the spruces look amazing.
Yeah.
And
There's one thing with the trees what I didn't really quite understand is why they couldn't sit too close to each other. Because obviously in real life trees can grow quite close to each other and they kind of like merge into themselves sometimes. So I was quite surprised you couldn't do that.
well, you kind of can. I mean, if you look at fully grown trees, they grow pretty close to one another. I think
Yeah.
it's a pretty realistic spacing, all things considered. It could be a little bit tighter, but it's not that big a deal. Maybe Londo can
It's
find
not
a
bad for
forest on the map.
vanilla. Yeah, it's not bad for vanilla length.
Supposed to.
Yeah. I mean, I've got the what's it turned on, so let me just try and gun a couple of trees down with our anarchy on. Let's put a couple of spruces. No, they
Vanilla
just
anarchy.
disappear. They do just disappear if you try and get them too close to each other. Can't get it.
But yeah,
So, yeah.
if you go over to like an existing forest on the map and you sort of look at the trees over there, you'll see that they're reasonably close together. It doesn't look particularly odd, does it?
Yeah, there's some there that are really, really quite close. And there's nothing
I'm playing on
stopping
a map that has loads of forest. I'm playing on the windy fjords, and yeah, the forests here look really good.
Yeah.
Except for the pine trees. Like, I don't know. Like, when I saw the tree, I was like, "What tree is that? What is this? An alder? Is this a what kind of deciduous trees it is? This pine." I'm like, huh? Never seen a pine look like that, but
Maybe in
all right then.
Paradox's part of the world.
Yeah,
Well, I
maybe.
mean, I live not too far away, geographically, so
Yeah. No, I was wondering
if you look from the bottom, it's more believable, actually. If you
Yeah.
zoom in all the way to the ground and look up at the pines, they become a bit more believable, but still, that's a miss in my book.
So yeah, good things about the game. I say one of the good things I quite like about the game is obviously the simulation and how much improved that is compared to any other city builder game that I'm aware of, especially 2013 cities.
Oh, you had to mention it, didn't you?
Yeah.
Andrew wants to know if the concrete is semi-see-through, or if it's just your eyes. Well, that's a pine from below. Yeah, I can see that as better than a pine from up above. Certainly.
I think you've got higher settings than me too, so you're seeing a little bit more
Yeah.
detail on that. But yeah, on my sort of medium-ish setting, slightly modified, but still while the spruces look absolutely gorgeous, the pines, I don't know, they're weird.
And now, for some reason, one of my shortcuts isn't working, so I can't seem to grab. What's
But
it?
plenty of good things about the game. Like the depth of the simulation feels so much more real. As somebody who I do enjoy like getting in on the details from time to time and sort of just making things pretty and maybe putting
Oh, so
some functionality to the side a little bit. I do also really, I guess, care in sort of a game sense about making things work. Like, just making things look pretty. Okay, that's fine. But if we can make a functioning city that also looks the part, that's where the real joy is. And I think, and this game does an amazing job, sort of does an amazing job with just the depth of the base simulation and how things sort of how various different like I guess factors and events in the in the simulation affect each other, and just how the city lives its little life, and how it affects the citizens and their decisions. um I can't really, like, I guess, put it into better terms necessarily, but it's I do like that it feels a bit more tangible, that, like, okay, some people, for example, people can't find jobs, and so they're struggling financially, and so then they might complain about high rent, and they might eventually, like, move out, or do something like that. That feels
crime.
way more real than, like, uh a whole residential tower suddenly going abandoned, like that, because I don't know, there was too much noise in the area for a bit.
That is
um
something that I think is missing currently. Is that an abandoned building won't actually tell you why it abandoned. I've found.
Um,
True, yes.
I don't know
Uh,
if in Skylines 1 that's base game or is that a mod?
no,
I'm
base
getting
game
a
Cities 1 does tell you the reason it was abandoned. There's usually one reason in
yeah.
particular that it went abandoned.
A mod will tell
In
you
Cities
why.
2,
Where?
it doesn't. It just says abandoned. But
Yeah.
the good thing is that that's a fair bit of time after the citizens got mad at something. So first you get the problem, like, hey, high rent, high noise, high water, some problem, whatever, right? Um, or you can, like, check on the happiness, and the happiness tells you, okay, these are the positives, these are negatives. For example, like, I have people living in low rent housing that are complaining about their homes being small, but otherwise they're pretty happy with city services, for example. um, but then, you see that as a complaint, then you see the building sort of emptying out, and then, if you check on an area, you see that, oh, this building has 0 residents, they all moved out, and nobody wants to live here. And so then there's a bit of time until, people can move back in because problems have been fixed, stuff has been addressed, or the building then after a while becomes abandoned. And the abandonment is, I think, pretty much exclusively that just nobody has been using it for a very long time, and yeah, nobody cared about it. So that's why it needs to be rebuilt or whatever. So
Right.
I think that mechanically it's pretty well thought out.
Yeah, I mean, I've just put a police station there. This home is moaning about rent, but they're also moaning about high crime. I just want to see if that'll drop down now that there's a police station there. But yeah, one of the things I found is I can only ever get demand for low density residential. I never seem to get demand for medium or high density residential. So I ended up eventually just spamming the map full of low density res. And now everyone's whinging, you've got not enough customers or high rent.
I've heard there's a bug related to the not enough customers thing.
I've heard that as well.
I'm repeating information I've heard, but yeah, the supposedly it's been confirmed a bug that the notification shows up for not enough customers. And that's just, the buildings will continue to function normally. It's just the notification is a bit too sensitive at the moment, I think.
That's
None of
fair.
my businesses are moving out because not enough customers. So far,
Yeah,
it's
it's
fairly
like Greggy
balanced
from
with
down the
demand.
road hasn't come in to do his normal shop with low on customers.
Yeah.
Right.
I see that. And of course we've got, underground railway stations. I do like how you can click on each individual thing there as well, each individual train, and see that my subway is not in use at all.
I love the animation of seeing where they are on the line. It's so nice.
And
almost
seeing
can't click on trains or buses that are stopped at a stop currently.
Yeah, let's have a go. When it's stopped, can I still click on? Oh, it's hard.
You can still kind of click on it. With my bus lines, I can't click on them anymore when they're at a stop. It's a bit annoying.
Yeah, you see, I have no bus lines here yet. What I do seem to have acquired, though, is a quay wall.
A what wall?
Quay. Have you not been in Missy's streams and heard it being called a quay? I know it's a key. Don't worry, Chris. It's not. I'm memeing.
Okay.
You
need to forewarn me sometimes, man. Oh,
no, I don't. Your facial reactions are far funnier when I don't warn you. I am sure in a snap you will absolutely get revenge on me. I know we're getting key walls, and again with the sort of anarchy trick, you can. I mean, I'm not saying that's a bug.
But that's a bug.
But
We've
that.
seen those.
Well, you see your subway.
Oh, hello, subway. Oh, hello.
I didn't expect the underground to be fully rendered either. I expected them to not fully render that, but I wonder if the trains are all fully rendered underground, if when one comes past this way.
Likely. I wouldn't put it past them. If they can render eyeballs, you won't really see much from behind.
I really wouldn't put it past them, but we'll
I wonder how much performance they'd get if they removed the detail on the eyeballs.
You never know.
If you get 1,000 people, that's like 2,000 eyeballs.
Oh, you're not going to find out because that bit.
100,000 people in this city. That's going to be a lot of eyeballs.
It is. Trains don't go past this part regularly anyway. This is the line back to the station, back to the depot. So yeah. Oh, we've got traffic.
We've been seeing like little gaps like that, just next to buildings as well, like between a road and a building.
Hello, traffic, my old friend.
Oi, Biffer. You told me roundabouts would fix everything. He did a video where he put a roundabout on every junction and it kind of accidentally worked.
I reckon it works because the time was past rush hour.
Yeah, it's got to be, hasn't it?
I haven't noticed too many crazy traffic.
That's why, Londo.
Traffic issues. Yeah. Oh, it's the people. Look, they're surrounding a car. So we did get riot DLC.
I was going to say, we've got an ambulance.
Some pre-game riot stuff.
Yeah. Oh, he's blocking the pedestrian pathway.
Yeah.
Oh,
and then these are all not moving properly. I wish I could just despawn a car like you can in one. However, what this gives us...
out of existence. Oh, I missed that.
However, what we do then get to see is people.
The faces. And look at
the
shirts.
Kids. Yeah. Oh, they're pissed. Look at them.
Hang on. Is that a kid or is that a dwarf?
They are very upset.
The kids, the children's models in this game are very peculiar. I think...
Look at the t-shirts. They're not t-shirts.
The t-shirt's got a belly button.
Yeah,
unfortunately...
Yeah, it does.
Right. I'm sorry. I have to draw attention. Why are they showing a child in that level of... Do you know, we're not going to go there. That's going to get them cancelled.
Literally painted skin.
Yeah, there's a sweater, hoodie.
Yeah. And they've even textured the skin.
I'm pretty sure the kids are just scaled, like scaled down in some sort of smart way. But even the smart way doesn't account for everything.
I don't know why they had to paint on the t-shirts.
No, I'm sorry. Can you not see Cerberus here?
That one dude in the back is super buff.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Yes, that's a man with an 8-pack. That is.
Yeah.
Not just a 6. Yeah, that's a thing. And the cool shades. And he might be
jacked.
buff. He might be buff, but he ain't exactly tall, is he?
Yeah, this lady. Definitely takes the
WNBA player.
contest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can, when you got like the clothes which are sort of open, they're sort of like you had before with the glitching through the floor. It glitches through the clothes as well.
You'll notice that she is wearing her jacket off her chest.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
that is a layer.
Kiki's had to go audio
you
only.
spend all that time on all that detail for these citizens, and they still have those little gaps. So like, my head is just like, why?
Right, hang on. I have to find something out now. I have to do something.
If
Let's
you get
see.
rid of the crosswalk, it should hopefully solve.
Oh, I'm not bothered about that. Right now, I'm more interested in seeing what the time of day is, which probably in
I would be
simulation.
more
Oh,
impressed
yeah.
with this City Skylines 1 citizens, even some of the assets that were made. would have been so
Time
much
of
better
day.
than
Let's
Grass,
make it
personally.
sort of.
Some of the custom citizen assets in CS1 were really good. I did a lot of military base buildings, and a lot of the military ones that are available were just top notch.
What I want to see is how good the lighting is on these. By the way, flashing alert, people. Let's sort of get rid of that crossroad and see what happens. Let's for science. What happened was no, that didn't fix it.
I like Londo was sort of saying about roundabouts will fix everything and doesn't have a roundabout where the problem is. I think that's quite funny.
Yeah, he's right. A roundabout might help. Oh, there they go. They got cleared.
Now, hang on, let's.
It's still a lot. Back up.
There we are. We'll poke a little roundabout there. Because we know a problem's going to come there, we'll poke one there. Hang on.
I love how easy it is.
I
though.
mean,
Yeah.
that's not where a roundabout belongs, but I'm putting one in anyway.
magic
we can
bout.
make the magic roundabout now.
Yeah.
Easily.
Oh
Yep.
yeah,
Fantastic.
What?
you kind of can.
You're suggesting that what we can do is go, what is it? It's 5, isn't it? So...
The
It's
Swindon
much bigger,
what?
isn't it?
I love how it looks like an army of ants. The simulation for vehicles have definitely improved. The agents do
Oh, yeah.
look a lot better driving.
Oh yeah. As long as you don't zoom in too far, the game looks fantastic.
It
Yeah.
does. It's just that, zooming in too far is funny.
And there is one
Yeah.
thing I wish they could fix over the cities one. I don't know how possible it would have been. Is the whole terrain sloping and how buildings spawn on it and the gardens around.
What's funny
them.
is watching
on,
trucks
steep
like
slopes.
full on. What are these called? Tractor
Yeah.
trailer trucks, rolling on through little alleyways.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a proper magic roundabout.
And then you need to connect them in the middle.
No, they're connected in the middle. They do it backwards. That's how they
right.
work.
So you need to put them tighter together.
Yeah. You literally kind of just do something like that.
Yeah.
Is essentially it. But the magic roundabout is just 5 roundabouts put together.
But you need cars to use it now. Go on. Let's see what they
Yeah.
do.
Force them onto it.
I think if you measure out the exact road lengths there, I think you can pretty much nail it down.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing you can do is do it with one-way roads as well. So you can kind of do, I don't know, I haven't tried this yet. So
Yeah, we can't use the grid tool for it. Well, I suppose you could do on the roads and then do roundabouts.
you could do something like that, I suspect.
I'm quite, like we probably said before, I'm quite impressed with the road tool and just how malleable it can be. And
Yeah.
it can sort of very intuitively know what you want to do with it, how you're drawing it.
I mean, if you do start trying to anarchy stuff in, you get things like that.
Yeah.
But again, that's full disclosure.
It's
That's
still-
me being an individual. Let's say that's me being a tool.
It's night and day difference from City Skylines 1 vanilla.
Yeah.
Like, just seeing this out of the gate, I'm very excited to get the enhancements of mods, right? Like, node
Yeah.
controller, or Move It or Network Multi-Tool. Those tools on top of what we have now, I tell my wife and kids I'll see them in a year. Like once we get that out. Yeah.
What's been my pet peeve is trying to place transit stops and having to deal with massively long road segments.
Yes.
I think the road segments currently in the game are way too long by default. And for example, for buses, which I've been using extensively, the bus stop bay, even though the bus stop itself is fairly short, I don't understand why, but it still places the bus stop bay along the entire road segment.
Yes.
And because the segments are so long, the bus stop bay is like, 17 buildings long, which is really frustrating.
You should be able to use the tool to add a node, though.
So we want a bus stop. We'll add a shelter.
But it still ends up being way too long. I do agree.
Right, how long a segment have we got? This should
if you turn off the info view, you'll see a bit clearer how long the bus stop bay ends up being.
Yeah.
Let's try it on a road without many cars on it. But yeah, that's a hecking long bus stop bay.
Yeah, it's huge.
So what I've been doing is I've been grabbing the same road type, grabbing just like straight road, double clicking somewhere on that segment.
Yep.
So to kind of pseudo force a node in there.
Yeah.
And then doing the modification, so like grass or like wide sidewalk and that kind of stuff. The good thing about wide sidewalk is that it can actually create an anti-bay. So the sidewalk comes out to the lane and bus doesn't have to pull in, which is quite handy from like IRL cities when they want to prioritize public transport and get through traffic a little bit easier.
There's a stop with the stupidly long bay, and obviously you can draw other roads in to avoid that. And then what you're saying to me is, if we stuff on a wide pavement there on this side, let's do it, and then we chuck in a bus stop.
Well, so with the wide sidewalk, it just won't have a bay.
Yeah, it just
kind of looks better.
Yeah, it does what a lot of the. In fact, that's a shelter one.
But yeah, if you want to have actual bays on this road, right?
Yeah.
What you can do is like if you have, especially along a straight segment, because if you do this along a curve, it might break zoning a little bit if you have buildings there already. But if you do, if you have a straight road segment, you can grab just the same road type that you have, like slide the sort of, align your mouse somewhere along that road that you prefer, double click, just like start and immediately end road construction, so it like doesn't go anywhere, but it still creates a node, and then you do different upgrades on each side. So for example, on one you can have like the grassy edges of the road. For example, you put grass on one side and then put the bus stop on the other side there. So the bus stop will then create the base, and then you can remove the grass on the other side, and the bus stop will stay shorter.
So what we're saying is, if we stick in a double-clicker road there, and then if I give, let's say grass is a good one to do, because we can see it, and then I want the bay to only be about that long, really, don't I? In fact, that long would do it. So I'll do the same again and upgrade and stuff grass on there. And then we stick a bus stop in here. Let's just use a sign because I'm too tight to put a shelter in. And then if we go back to our road tool and we remove those, what you see is a segment of road with a bay that's a little more... I mean, that's still huge for a bus stop bay.
I think that's all right. I think that these buses are fairly sizable, but that's kind of a technique you can use for now. But I just wish the segments were way shorter, or like something easier was available to do that. Preferably, I don't even care about the segment length. Preferably, the bays would just appear where the stop actually is and not along the whole thing. That's I don't know why that's still a thing.
Yeah, I don't get that either, but I do understand, some bays are longer than others, and there's a scenario where I can see where, certainly in London you have reasonably long bays with 2 or 3 stops along them. The intention being that, you can stop your bus at any of those bays. Hello, what's that sign? Oh, that's a parking sign. No. There you are, ambulance going past. But you've got, I mean, they say EU bus stop sign. Now, for those of us that live sort of in or near the EU, how can you have one EU bus stop sign? In the UK, we have a different bus stop sign every region. Like, Blackpool Transport will have one, Potteries Mutt Trucks will have one. And then, you go to different regions of even Sweden, I believe, has like different one per region, or Norway or something. I've been watching too much GeoGuessr. People going, oh yeah, this bus stop sign means you're in this part of Denmark. It's like, how do you know that?
Yeah, in Poland they'll have like the mandated like road sign with the like blue outline and the bus.
Folks. I've just seen seen quite a funny. Oh, I've lost it now. There was quite a funny thing that came up for those of us that play any of the Souls games in Chirper, which was, does anybody else just praise the sun? Like, yes I do. I play Dark Souls occasionally. I am happy to see a Dark Souls reference in this game. By the way, I only noticed that because Minxie pointed it out to me earlier. Big shout outs for Minxie Rose. Not Twitch shout outs because she doesn't stream, but you know what I mean. So that's a fair point. Shall we do promotion of people? Shall we shout out EclipseChris?
Oh, thank you.
We should shout out Mr. Rufio. And we should shout out... These are not working. Actually, it's slash shout out now, isn't it? So we can
you
do
could
that.
do it that way if your bot worked.
What bot? We got rid of them. I've yeeted them.
Well, there you go. No. That's a skill issue.
Yeah, the skill is we're going to be... Oh, I've got to wait 2 minutes between shout-outs. Minxie, you're in chat, I believe. In a couple of minutes, give a shout-out to Mr. Rufio. In another couple of minutes, give a shout-out to Outfrost, please. Nice.
This is known as the Minxie Rose stream automation service.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, we've got the Minxie bot.
The Minxie Rose bot, yeah.
Slash shout-out, Minxie.
It's not a very good bot. It doesn't know how to do a shout-out. Sorry. Too funny. Yeah. Were we going to bring anyone else to chat about stuff, actually?
If there are folks in chat who would like to, we've got the whole request system going. I believe
one request.
That request is someone that doesn't want to. That I already know.
Oh.
Because I did message her and go, do you really want to have your voice and your Fizzog on stream? And she went, is that what it does? No. I was like, yeah.
That's Minxie, isn't it?
That funny that. Well spotted. That is exactly who.
But one thing I do like about Cities 2 is obviously the increased graphics on the assets of what they do for base game, like all the well, not skyscrapers specifically, but a lot of the taller buildings where they've got you can sort of see sort of partly into the buildings.
The parallax, yes.
Yeah,
that's a very cool feature.
Really cool.
Yeah.
I really do love that. And all the petrol stations and that are now spawn in and that. And I've found one in my own city, which I thought was quite comedic, of a petrol station.
Oh, wow.
Do you want to see it on my phone? I don't know if it come out very well.
If you go to photo mode, it's a bit easier too.
Yeah, no.
So I have here a petrol station which spawned in my city. It's very good.
That's a very small one.
That is a very
Yes.
nice petrol station.
Maybe
It's
it's
a singular petrol station with one little roof and one little pump, but nowhere to pay. So it must be a pay as you go something.
yeah, it's like a hydrogen pump or something.
Still has
If
10 employees or so.
If everyone
It's
watches,
yeah.
if everyone watches these windows, as I sort of move,
Is there a cat somewhere? Like I don't know if that is.
I am not
I
hunting
believe
your
that's a
cat.
cube map.
I believe you're probably right, but it's cool.
It looks more pronounced at nighttime too when the lights
Yes.
are on. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It didn't
So
look
it's a
just right
nighttime
for like
map,
a flat texture for with a parallax map. I think that's a cube map, which is usually used for reflections. Funnily enough, in like low budget sort of for low budget reflections in games. But in here you can also use it for the interior. It looks just as good.
Yeah, let me see if...
What I've been seeing is some of the windows, at least in my in the buildings in my game, have had like very odd and not particularly great looking curtains and shutters in the windows. That's at least what it looks like. They're like, I don't know. To me, they look like almost a
well, they're
whatchamacallit,
blind,
almost like a texture glitch.
It's like
Okay, they
5
look
o'clock in
better
the
on your
morning
end.
Again, I'm running on pretty high graphics.
Yeah.
Oh, look at the sun in
For
the
me,
morning
it looks like
as well.
a repeating. For me, it looks like a repeating black to white gradient, like just sort of, just like a sort of zigzagged through the windows. It looked kind of a little bit jarring sometimes, and I'm not sure if that's just a rendering bug on my end or if that's actually just lower graphics or whatever.
Possibly. Remember, I'm running at essentially high everything.
That sun looks great.
The reflection on the river is what I'm going for. That's just... Oh, that is absolutely magnificent.
So you got the photo mode as well. That is a
You
miles
do.
above whatever we had in the first game.
I mean,
Very
something that I think Mr. Rufio and I have chatted about, but we'll sort of bring up again. Wouldn't it be cool if with the cinematic mode you could say to the game, right, I don't care how many frames per second you render, but render out every single frame at the highest quality settings. Don't even care if it does much simulation, and then compile us a movie. Make it so that we can export the movies that we make in this.
Yeah. So
That'd
you
be
don't have
pretty
to worry about stuttering or anything like that.
Yeah.
You actually just render it out, like how people do with stepping down the simulation right now with CS1 for modding.
Yeah,
They
and
get proper
using
renders.
reshade and...
What you have in there actually is if you go to the, I believe the time tab in there, you can do lower simulation speed. So you can technically record in slow motion, but that's not quite what you're saying, right? It's just
Yeah.
sort of a
This
stopgap.
tool is absolutely amazing, though. The cinematic mode, being able to create a whole video on a spline and have it all built into the game is just absolutely it's really easy to use. Been messing around with it. They can only go do 120 seconds at a time, but to be able to save and recall is absolutely awesome. Yeah, look at that slow motion.
The full Baywatch walk.
Look at that. That looks great. That's a very nice half-step simulation.
And then what you can do is sort of keyframe that. And then sort of go to there. Simulation speed.
Have you found a way to loop one of these cinematic cameras?
No, I haven't been able to find a way to loop it automatically yet. I think there's definitely some tools that need to be added onto it. Because
you can
when you
loop,
grab
but there's a button.
We're on the bottom.
I found a button. I just now didn't see it earlier.
Just Minx, are you on about the game itself, or are you on about the camera mod or the camera tool?
The devs have done a great job. Just wish they'd finish it. The game mod, this photo mode, I think everything. All of it, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean
that seems to be the general consensus is that we feel this is early access and it should have been labeled like that.
Yeah.
100%. Like the framework is there for this to be the best city builder of all time, but from us using it and playing it, the general consensus is that it's like this close. It's like when you jump the Grand Canyon, right? Evel Knievel didn't make the jump. He was that close, though.
Yeah, it's I wouldn't in my mind I wasn't fully calling it early access in my head. But definitely, if I can agree with that. If you look at the things that are currently sort of broken, unpolished, sort of missing potentially, then that is a completely valid conclusion. And what was I going to say? I'm treating it a little bit, I think, differently than a lot of people are, because like I said earlier, like I came into CS2 like freshly from CS1 vanilla city.
Yeah.
And seeing all the foundations get such huge upgrades, all the simulation, all the traffic, all the medium density, where it actually feels like a proper city now when you look around, and all
Reversing
these
cars.
Sorry?
Reversing cars.
Yeah, like cars reversing, trams reversing. Hello, all these, all these different features and quality of life improvements. It feels like it deserves to be called like a full new game. And
Oh yeah.
early access or not, the kind of question has sort of gone like it's sort of become like almost tangential for me. But kind of, is it has it been worth is it worth my money currently, paying full price for it? And I think for the most part, yes. I
mean, I'll sell it.
I have faith that it will develop into something much bigger. Like, we know that the future updates and DLCs are coming. We know that performance is gonna improve probably. It's not definite yet, but since it's the most priority that I've ever seen a game studio put on performance, like post launch. So I'm thinking pretty good of it. So would I say that for example the €60 was a good price for the game as it is right now, like in the current snapshot? Maybe not. Maybe maybe I would put it at like a 30 or 40, for example, right now. Maybe somewhere thereabouts, right? But considering considering all the other aspects just mentioned, I think I'm fine like spending this money on the game and enjoying it right now, even if I can't pull high details 60 FPS on my machine at the minute. Maybe someday. Maybe we can hope.
Well,
especially since it's graphics performance that needs to improve and not necessarily CPU.
Minx has put a great point in, which is, it's a new game. They've all got a few bugs. Here's something I do love, though, and I will always love, is that you've got this whole lane-based mechanic. Now, I've turned off snap to zoning cell length, so I can snap off pretty much lane, middle, lane.
Yep.
And just the idea that I can now go, make me a curve, let's go from there to there. We're going to go into there. Slope too steep. No, it's not.
But the game says it is.
No, it apparently wasn't. I mean, it does look a bit horrible. I'd want to mod and tweak that. But
Cuboid, hurry.
Cuboid!
Cuboid.
But, we've now got a slip lane on the roundabout. That is too janky even for me to allow.
I've created some fun roundabouts with lots of that stuff going on.
I do find myself with the vanilla tools, right? And then there's a good point that Outfrost brought up, going from vanilla. For having, all the tools that I've had, I do find myself deleting and reapplying, deleting and reapplying roads that I've never used to do before, because I got so used to a workflow of placing a road down grabbing the node and moving it and then
Yeah.
bending everything after the fact. So
Pretty adjusting
it's definitely like a learning curve for me to go back to vanilla, because I know a lot of people were like, Rufio, vanilla. I'm like, no, I would never do vanilla, and here I am. But it's a fun, right? This is a fun vanilla, and I'm very excited just to get those code mods out.
I'm actually quite interested why they didn't actually go for the full move it from initial launch thing and just include it in the game. Unless Cuboid kind of patented something and they couldn't do it. I don't know.
I suspect it's more to the point that if you've got Move It, then if you're playing with a budget and whatever, cheating becomes so much easier. Because what you could do is you could go, well, I'm going to make a road. It's going to be, that. Right, now I'm going to grab Move It, and it's going to get lengthened stupidly in each direction and moved around, and then we're going to insert nodes, and, all of a sudden you've spent, like, 300-400 credits on something that's, the length of a city block.
But you can delete a full, massive, a completely 100% full garbage dump mode.
Yes, which I'm confused about.
Yeah. What was I going to say? The people have been pointing out that there are missing features from different mods that have been sort of partially implemented. So like, traffic manager, Move It, all these sort of things. And I think this isn't necessarily a question of what they could have achieved or what they, what was sort of, I guess, like, I don't know, like not necessarily even like cheating or, budget kind of stuff. Although that plays a part certainly in the calculation. And obviously, the scope of the game, like how much work do we actually want to put into this aspect versus everything else.
That was a thing.
But
Sorry
I think the main sort of from a game design perspective, the main reason that I think they sort of settled on these renditions of sort of porting forward the mod functionality is sort of a good general basis of functionality that is still accessible to the vast majority of players, and that isn't one, isn't overwhelming, and two, doesn't consume too much time in the development of the base game that would only be sort of perhaps appreciated by sort of a very small percentage of players, relatively speaking. So
that's very true, because you have to take these tools and be able to make it work on PC and console, right? And that's a very hard thing to do with like the breadth of tools that PC players are able to use with mods. So you're spot on with that, like 100%. It can get to a point where it can be very complicated to try to use this with a mouse and keyboard, right? Multi-network tool or TMPE. But what's cool is that you're right. The base of those features are now implemented in like the base simulation. So when we have code mods, we can have TMPE, right, with our lane matching. We can have network multi-tool and stuff like that, but it's not adding more stress to the game because a lot of those base functionalities now exist. So now they can just add on the extra pieces that are kind of needed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so mods are going to be required anyway. Like for people who want to really dive into the nitty-gritty of the making the exact build they envision. And there's still going to be a thing, and I think that's something that Colossal Order just expect at this point and like rightfully embrace, that modders are going to make this their own game anyway. But yeah, so consoles being having their own limitations, I think is a consideration certainly. But I think CO is still keeping this game vastly like PC first, which is good to see. Like obviously some considerations have to be made for console releases to work, but like I don't think that's like a driving sort of force behind any particular like core design decisions, right? It's like, okay, we make this game for PC, we make all these cool features that are also accessible to less experienced, newer players, people who prefer the management aspects and business aspects of the game a bit more, for example. And then we look at consoles, see, okay, how can we nudge this thing a little bit to make it accessible to console players as well.
The only thing that's worrying is the console, the spec of the consoles at the moment is not as high as, my PC or even Minx's laptop. So I understand why the game hasn't come out on the consoles. And also, I do worry if either the console and the PC are going to get different builds to the point where they're going to be considered different games almost. Very similar to something like Cities 1 became, especially with the Switch, where they stopped supporting it, or where you get the remastered setup or whatever. Or
VR.
if you... We didn't need to mention that one, but sure, we'll go there. Or if we're going to get hampered at any point in what we can do in terms of the PC. Now, I have heard from Colossal Order have sort of said, from what I've seen, that they'll let any save game try and load on any platform, but if it doesn't load on a different platform than you made it on, so what? Tough luck. They seem to be trying to play the open. You can try and load anything on anything. You can try and put any mod on anything. Code mods just will not work on consoles,
Yeah.
which is a shame. I understand why, but I also think that Fallout 4 managed to get some script mods working on consoles. So I do wonder if a little more effort had gone in if they could have got some code mods working on consoles. Yeah, the ones that don't use Harmony.
They would have
and the
to
like.
basically develop their own scripting system that is very locked down in terms of like only affecting certain, lockdown bits of the game because of the way that console,
certification,
console, like ecosystem
Very
vendors,
sandboxed.
validate
the
games.
It would have been hard, I think. I don't know if it would have had to have been a case of, I think with Fallout 4, you have to kind of get your mod reviewed to go on consoles. And I'm pretty sure that at some point they'll look into doing that. They just haven't announced it because it might be a no. But I'd be very surprised.
It's always a cost to them too, because it costs money to get those, like any updates and stuff reviewed for the... to push updates out or to get stuff approved for the console releases, which is unfortunate.
Now, what's interesting, I've just had a look through dev mode, and I see watches for the systems. We have systems like aging. Well, that makes sense. Become teen, become adult, whatever. We have births. All normal, yeah. Citizen happiness, we're expecting that. And we could go on, but oh yeah, divorce is simulated in Skylines 2, folks.
Oh.
It simulates divorces. We
keep seeing a lot of this life integration, which has me wondering when the game of life comes out from Paradox, if we're going to see like our character that we build inside that game show up in, City Skylines 2, kind of like how SimCity did.
Yeah, except better because these folks know how to do this.
One feature I think that may come into play, just based on the fact that we now have car crashes happening, is that we could potentially see a mod where we may be able to drive our own vehicle around, like SimCity 4 Rush Hour.
Possibly. Oh look, a police car.
Obviously, it depends on how the coding of the game is and everything. If it's even possible to
Right, can I rename this?
Control your own vehicle.
To come back a second to what you were talking about as well with the differing builds for consoles and PCs, for example, and the sort of hardware limitations. From a game developer's perspective, that sort of thing is fairly unlikely, but like in a specific way. So making like fully different SKUs, like different products entirely, maintaining different like feature sets, different code bases even for the different target platforms is very expensive and not something that like a 20 to 30 person small studio can really afford on a day-to-day. So there would have to be like a really special case for that to really happen.
That's actually a great thing to remember, sorry. Just want to highlight 20 to 30 person game studio. Let's remember that when we're criticising the game. 20 to 30 people game studio.
I'm interested to
Hi there,
know
Mama
what the
Fan, by the
budget
way.
was for this game. compared
and
to
I want to
to-
find out
PS1.
who was in charge of modelling the citizens.
Yeah, and on the other hand, it's for a small studio, it is still viable with a game like this to have different certain differing features or differing build configurations that they likely already have for the
Oh,
different
yeah.
platforms. So, for example, certain they might have certain specific bits of code that compile a little bit differently for the different target platforms, and we're not just talking about compatibility things like where do things save on the certain machine and yada yada, but maybe even like level of detail in some bits of simulation and like maybe like little pieces to tweak that affect how the game performs and versus how good the result is. But for the most part, those are going to be like very sort of what I would call them, like very contained little things. What I would expect this to
Yeah.
be. So if more differences develop between the different releases of the game, I would expect it to be mostly in the sort of nature of particular things that you can point out, like, oh, like this this UI looks different on the console because this and that is different on a console, or maybe like these buildings take less or more time to grow in, or like something like that because of some condition or some tweak in the simulation that was necessary for the platform. I wouldn't necessarily see like entire features or entire like um subsystems being like missing or being different in the future. I wouldn't necessarily expect that to be like
No,
something they would actively
I agree.
pursue. I didn't say absolutely have to.
Yeah. By the way, hi Beartastic, and have a look. I don't know if you can all see the police car that I've renamed Cop Car, but at the right zoom level, it forgets which vertices are wheels and which ones aren't, and you can have some fun with that. Zoom in too much and it remembers again. But yeah.
I can't wait for reskinning vehicles.
Oh yes, because I know that you're going to have an Ernie garbage truck again, aren't you?
Maybe.
Or Ernie might be an ambulance this time, or a hearse. I imagine Ernie as a hearse.
Oh,
Can
yeah,
you put
because
Ernie
will
in a suit and make him a hearse so he can be the funeral director?
make an Ernie citizen rolling around sidewalks.
So many trams. Yeah, my trams all seem to have got into one place. By the way, Bear, don't worry. This is my first ever city in the game. I am not keeping it. We're just using it as a sort of demo at the moment. But yes, apparently you can rename police cars and roundabouts.
RoboCop.
I can see why they made terraforming free as well.
RoboCop is now a thing. Thank you, Rufio.
Londo, have you got any buildings that are, residential places on the slopes?
Res on slopes. Oh, yes, I have. How many would you
There
like?
was a big thing in the base game where it's like, I can't believe they didn't try and fix it in this game, but
Because you can have ever so much fun. Look at that greenhouse.
that's nothing.
And that one, and that, and...
My cemetery has a floating chapel.
Your cemetery has a floating chapel.
Yeah, like just hovering, just a bit above ground. It's being held in slightly in the air by like all the spiritual energy in the area.
Fantastic said in chat. Seems like a lot of management. It is a lot of management. That's something that we were talking about earlier. Is
Yeah.
that the simulation is just completely overhauled, where there's so much management to it. Well, I don't even think we touched on water or power. Like power itself, I'm actually excited to manage. It's actually fun to see that before, where I just had a mod where I'm just like, let it go.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've encountered a couple of the blockages.
The blockages is a very interesting thing to handle. It's like a subsystem,
Yeah.
some simulation that you have to control too. So.
Okay, how are you getting rocks out of this rock pile? Not rocks. How are you getting logs out of this log pile? And
You
and
slide
why
one
did
out
you,
like Jenga.
And why did you build this log pile like that? And
this is something that I don't know how easy it would have been to have done, but I should have seen that the whole building surroundings would just be forced level and have sheer walls next to them. That would have been fine, I think. Like having a proper foundation throughout the whole thing.
I mean,
in certain circumstances.
What do you think to this this shed? I think it's a little bit on the wonk.
He's got
I
a
think it's
sinkhole
entirely
going
fine.
on.
Like you just, if you chuck something in there, it stays in there, doesn't roll out.
I mean, that
Like
is a
over,
fair point. You're
They're
presuming
really trusting
gravity.
that fence.
You're presuming.
If you have cats,
It's
you
not
don't
even-
have. If they knock something over, it's not gonna like just roll out and get lost in the field.
No, but what we have seen, folks, is some magic sand. How is the sand stain in that sand pit?
Static.
Kinetic sand.
I mean, the thing is gravity even real in Skylines? Like,
That's true.
is
Good question.
gravity a thing?
Someone should have checked out a pool on a hill.
Is the water in
See
the
what the water
pool
looks
even
like, yeah.
leveled? Right, let's find a house with a pool on a hill. That's
What you were saying about the management as well in the simulation. I think what's like a huge selling point of this game for me is that on one hand, a lot of the aspects of the simulation you don't really even have to worry about if you don't want to. So if you just want to solve a problem once and never look back at it again, like here, big power plant, city has power, good, moving on. You can do that, and then eventually, like, oh, there's a power blockage. Okay, drag a high voltage line over here, put a thing, done again. See you later. In a million years.
yeah.
But
By the way,
on the other hand, the things that you dive into, the things that you actually do choose to manage a little bit more and get into the nitty-gritty of, are not overwhelming at all. They are also like still very fun to play around with, and they you're not seeing an overwhelming amount of detail in the, or like sort of requirement for, I guess, attention span in the things that you do choose to manage and get more detailed with. So it's really enjoyable and really straightforward to like tune things to your liking without having to spend a lot of time just analyzing numbers and trying to figure out how to min-max something to your advantage. You can very easily affect the development of your city, which is really nice.
The level
Right,
of detail and information that they give you, though, is pretty impressive. Like, there's a lot of stuff in there that is like unnecessary to even look at, but like it's really cool to see. Like, and it doesn't affect, the management of the game. It's just information that you can just digest too. So, like Outfrost was saying, it doesn't affect the management where it's going to take you out of the fun of playing the game, right? But it's that extra information to really bring you into your city.
yeah. Now, going back to Mama Van's question, the pools look like they are levelled out the same way that buildings are. Basketball hoops, on the other hand, folks,
That's a fun one.
that's an interesting one.
Yeah, and what was I gonna? Sorry, I
Oh,
was gonna say
nice.
something I forgot.
I was going to ask a question about what features would we want to sort of see come in, or additions come into the game down in its future.
Oh,
Ooh.
One of mine is more radio sort of ads that aren't all samey and there's like repetitive.
That.
right. I'm gonna
This is
make
a public service announcement. This has been
I
a
was
service announcement.
disappointed that none of the stations that I bought from CS1 were automatically imported. I thought that would have been something really cool to see. We're going to have more radio stations. I hope I don't have to rebuy, some of the ones that I've already have. So
Yeah,
I
there needs to be more because at the moment it just seems like they've got a length of music file with these set things within it, rather than it being just music and then it being interrupted by announcements.
Can I make a confession here?
Oh,
The first thing I did when booting the game up was turn the in-game music off.
it doesn't stutter now, so you're good.
I
yeah, the music is
I have-
actually good.
right. The problem is, I have Spotify on my phone. I have a little program on my computer that thinks it's Spotify that doesn't like show any UI or anything. So I just use my phone and play Spotify while I'm playing the game. I don't see the point in me. I'm sorry, I don't see the point in me buying radio stations for this game when I've got music anyway. So that's my little bugbear.
I want to see.
I think they didn't. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I just want to see more destinations, more things for people to do. There's lack of theme parks, zoos, things like that were part of the base game, and I can see them coming later on. And I know that Colossal Order likes to have free things along with paid things with each major update, and I hope that not everything is going to be gatekept, because simple things like a zoo or a theme park or stuff like that, I think could enhance, right? There's not a lot of things for the people to do besides to build residential, commercial, and industrial, right? I mean, obviously that's where the focus is, but I'd like to see more parks and more things like that, which is obviously on the pipeline.
Right. And being able to use parks on paths rather than having a road service as well.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
I think proper pedestrian areas would be nice. Right, talking about Kiggy's mentioning districts in this game. So something I've just done is I've just put a fire station down, and I'm now going to district that so that this fire station only really serves this block of housing. If you're in this block over here, sorry, you're getting nothing. You're just burning.
Just quickly on the topic of fires, and that, I'm disappointed that they didn't have any animations on any of these sort of services, such as it's when you had the firemen come out with their little fires and try and spray some bush rather than the actual fire, and it was quite fun. But that's not in this one anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same for a lot of things too. Sports stadiums, everything.
Yeah. But there we are. I mean, you can now sort of give catchment areas for, fire, police, education, that sort of thing. So that sort of makes districts more usable. Having not really played with districts, I now want to go into the district areas thing and go, well, what
policies.
Can I do with this?
We are lacking a good amount of policies for districts.
Yeah.
We are.
I love the new districting tool. I kind of miss being able to paint a park within a city district, though, like layering of districts. I do miss that. I don't know if that's possible. And from what I messed around with, I can't do it. But I feel like the lack of policies is definitely holding some of the simulation back.
Well, hang on. Let's try something. Let's go.
I've actually had to use districts in my build because I have 3 separate towns sort of growing independently but kind of connected, and I've had problem with police vehicles and ambulances traveling way too far between them when all of them have their individual services. So I've actually had to use the districts to limit them, and now coverage is excellent.
Hey, Yoon. By the way, with the sort of inbuilt anarchy, I've just overlapped 2 districts.
Very cool.
So you can now overlap district.
Good.
It's a feature.
I can't remember how to get to policies and set them between districts. Actually, that's a lie. I never looked it up. How does one give policies to districts?
If you click on the names, I think.
Yeah, because that would be the
name
sensible thing. Yeah.
Expand that.
Yeah.
Used to be a button and then you clicked on the districts, but now it's on the...
Yeah, that's cool.
So it's just a handful of districts. I see like one's unlockable, but that's pretty much it for unlockables.
The policies, that's... I would love a lot more of those, so we'll stick gated community on there as well. Whatever. I mean, the only other one is combustion ban, so you've got to drive electrics around the area. Do you know what would be cool? Is toll roads again.
Yes, I missed toll roads already.
So you could disable the fact that they could park anywhere and put lots of parking spaces, parking assets around, and then you can get money from them using them.
Yeah, you make them park in.
Ban parking throughout the city and only allow parking in the parking lots, and then up the parking fee to masses amounts.
Yeah, that's very true. You could do that.
Big one is
I'm actually happy
bicycles.
about that, and Yeah, about this and like a few other features, like especially cars like not despawning and having to go somewhere,
Yeah.
um, helping with managing, like if you're down to sort of manage your city into a less car dependent city, and
Spot the
into
European
more
here.
walkability, more public transport sort of priority. You have those tools that
Yeah.
make people consider those options a bit more. For example, like maybe driving a car is more expensive, maybe they can't find parking, and that's something that the game now, at least supposedly, I'll have to go to a larger population. I've got 5,000 now, so I've got nothing.
Yeah.
But when I get to a larger population, maybe I can actually test this. But hopefully, what they how they said it works is how it works, which is they will now take those costs into account and be like, okay, well, maybe I don't want to spend half an hour looking for a parking place and pay 20 credits per hour for it. So
Yeah.
maybe I'll go on the tram actually.
And I wonder if they'll sort of park up at one of these. What I'd love to see is if they'll park up on one of these and then catch a bus or a tram or a train the rest of the way, and kind of do a park and ride scenario.
I think I've seen one YouTuber do that in a very wacky way. They sort of did that.
Yeah.
What they did was basically they were trying to they were banning cars from like entering the city at all. They were just like no road into the city, just train station out in the middle of nowhere, drag a road into it, some parking spaces there, and have people go in by train. They actually did. So I believe that functionality is there.
That is cool.
I quite liked watching. I think it was the Spiffing Brits take on it. I don't know if you've seen that.
I think I've forgotten if I have.
It's where you made like a 7-day journey or something to work or something like that.
Oh, I didn't
Like
see
the
that. Okay.
longest trip you can make someone take. It's quite hilarious.
Yeah. Go on, Roof. Are you playing about with dev mode? Have you got the home key working and you're placing rocks? Is that what you're doing?
Well, I found a post in City Skylines 2 guides on Steam. It says props in CS2 and where to find them. And it looks like down here is that randomization is working. So there's 30 rocks, and randomization seems to be for all 30 rocks. So props are in game; they're just not truly accessible to everyone yet.
Yeah.
But with developer mode, you can grab rocks in. So I thought that was somebody who mentioned something in the chat earlier about placing rocks. You can do that right now.
Right. So if Everdream's listening, Everdream, if you're listening, you can place Soever rocks. Cool. Sorry about that, Chris. I just had to.
That's all right. I forgot what I was going to say now. No, I've actually forgotten what I was going to say.
Fair enough.
Well, when the asset editor.
Oh, that was it. I remember now. Sorry, Outfrost.
Go.
I remember now. It was the assets thing. Why wouldn't they allow you to access the vanilla assets within the game and use them, like plopping them down like the trees? Why would they not allow you to do that? It seems like an easy thing to have implemented.
But again, they didn't. They didn't allow that in one. We had to.
Well, this is another game.
They did.
This is next gen. You should.
No, they did allow that. The vanilla base game had, alongside vegetation.
Oh, it had. Yeah, I was thinking houses.
It had props as well. There weren't a lot of them, but it did have them.
Oh yeah, no, I was thinking Rico. Sorry, yeah, of course.
Yeah. No, so I think what my brain suggests here is that there may have been like glitches with it, or something didn't quite fit with other pieces. They haven't quite had it figured out yet. It's not like a top priority thing. So
yeah,
that's like my guess.
I mean, it all leads into the idea of early access, especially the amount of things that are like 90% of the way there.
Well, so here is the game developer perspective on that, right? No game is ever 100% done.
Oh, of course.
Oh, good.
And
like if you think about like any game in the last sort of 10 years that you can think of, it's never been like fully done, like fully fixed, fully performant. Sorry?
Baldur's Gate 3? Isn't it?
I'm pretty sure it probably isn't.
I have not played it, but I
I
will
haven't played
bet
it, but I've
you
heard good
50
things.
quid that it is absolutely not complete and bug free and buttery smooth.
I'll
So
bet you it's not to the levels the devs personally wish they could get it to.
That's typically the case.
because you have so many considerations that sort of go into. You have scope, right? Like, what sort of things are we deciding to focus on in this particular game, so that we can actually finish it, and so that we can, do the things that we care about in the best possible way. Then you have, technical limitations, like what can we actually achieve, and which way do we sort of maneuver around the technical limitations so that we can, again, achieve what we want the best way we can. And on top of that, then you have time constraints. So no publisher, no investor these days will allow like extensions and extensions and extensions to the release date just because developers want it to be the best thing ever. Like,
Yeah, it's
commendable,
got to come
but
out.
the
Yeah,
people
but
with the
in a
money
playable state,
want
though,
some
probably,
money back,
for
and
most
that's
people.
just an unfortunate thing
There's only
about
one
game development.
caveat to that. There's only one caveat that Star Citizen is the only game that can take the crown that says we'll do it, we'll release it when we're ready. But everyone else, you're right, are beholden to shareholders.
But they
and
are
I
need to
already
make
disagree.
money
taking
They've
back.
money. That's the
released.
thing.
They have
Yeah.
They can
released.
do that only because they're taking money constantly, and they're constantly getting a return on investment on something
Yep.
that is not actually done, which is amazing and incredible. And what the heck?
They're in early
But
access.
yeah, that's the reason
in
they can
early
do that. It's
access,
because
yeah.
they're raking in millions from ship
Yep.
sales
Well,
on
you
a
got
game that
Bethesda
But
doesn't
it's
even
not,
let you
yeah,
do
and
much with them.
it's not
Well, you got
normal.
it.
It's not a normal state. So you're right. That be, for a developer like Colossal Order, they're beholden to, their publisher, and they're beholden to, the people that are funding this company, and they have to get the return on investment,
And I mean,
by a
don't
specific
forget,
time.
don't forget
The-
that
the
this
problem-
game is.
sorry.
Don't forget this game. I mean, unofficially, let's face it. We know that when they announced things like some of the DLCs for one, and they said, "Oh, we've got a big announcement coming up," and then it was VR. I don't think it's beyond the wit of man to suggest that those announcements were supposed to be two, and they just never materialised at that time. I'm pretty sure that this game was running late, and I mean very late.
Possibly.
Well, 8 years of development. They said they started it not too far after CS1, but maybe
Yeah.
6, 7. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure this was
there
meant
is-
to come out a couple of years ago.
There is sort of a line that these are sort of like, well, they should sort of treadwise, is that they shouldn't push a game out when it's not ready, like this one actually was, because of all the whole people can't run it on lower systems and that probably should have been able to, but they couldn't because of optimization and that. And they're going to lose out on sales because of that early push out. And so it's actually a detriment to them to getting it out early.
Yeah, but I mean, taking
Yeah.
the software developer's perspective on this, they,
It might have just taken an extra month. Who knows?
But
I think
that
the
extra
performance
month-
bit is actually not performance. The performance bit is actually not a software development / game developer perspective.
Yeah.
To justify it, that is just business. And
Yeah.
If I was in the seat of I don't know, people making decisions about how this game is supposed to go out, like we can look over all the like missing little features and like little annoyances and all the bits that are not quite there. But performance, we got to nail down before release,
Yeah.
so that
I
people
agree.
can actually properly enjoy what is already there.
Yeah.
That is the one thing that I will not give them the pass on.
Exactly. That's
The game developer sort of mind pass or whatever. That's not happening here. I think all the other things, they've got to kind of manage expectations and get something out that is good. Because like it's not even that it's not even just that they're beholden to their publisher, and like publishers beholden to investors and all that. Even if you think about indie game development and completely independent developers, making their own thing and self-publishing on Steam and all that, they still have to not take forever, and they still have to release something, because at the end of the day, the project has to earn the
Yeah.
money.
You
They
you
have
don't
to
eat if you don't
survive
release.
somehow, unless they're like some rich guy who just does this for fun because doesn't have to work a day in his life. But we're not talking about that.
They
In a
should have released
perfect
it as
world,
early
we
access,
would,
they should
but we're
have.
not. Yeah.
I would love to be
It-
that guy. I have so much to do that, yeah, I would
Yeah.
absolutely love that. But no, not living in that world.
No, our billionaires are chasing space, not city builders, unfortunately. So.
Yeah, just imagine
someone's
if they were
gotta do it.
chasing city builders.
Oh.
Well, no.
Tell you
I
what.
actually do not want them to.
Yeah, fair point.
Hot take, I do not want them to.
Right, can I, because we have been going for like a good couple of hours now, can I just bring this round to a few sort of last thoughts? So, Skylines 2 for Snap, now that we've got dev mode and now that Chris has seen what it does and his jaws dropped through the floor, what do we think to the idea of this game in a Snap? Is there something to it?
I still
It's
think yes,
snappable.
but waiting until it's ready.
Yeah.
So, when would you say it's ready? I've got an idea in
When it's
mind as
out
to
of
when
early
I want
access,
to do
of
it.
course.
But that it's not even in early access.
Yeah, it's-
And unfortunately,
they just didn't want to call it.
that's going to be a different thing for everyone. I think personally for me, and chat, this is where I want you folks to really start sort of talking and telling us what you think. I would like to suggest that maybe for Snap, let's wait for the
Move it.
let's get moving. Well, I was going to say Paradox mods. Let's
Yeah.
wait until we can start getting a few more assets
Yep.
and see what happens.
That's fair.
Can
Because
I give you my take really quick,
Please.
actually?
please,
What if we start with vanilla competitions based in the current state of the game, however it is, and then as things come out, as mods come out, as different special functionalities that we want come out, we start incorporating those and make it more interesting that way.
so start with sort of as it is now, and then maybe move on. Possibly. I mean, Minx is suggesting 2024 at the earliest. I'd like to get a Christmas one out there. By the way,
I suppose
I
we
have
could do a
just
fun
dropped
one.
a Discord link in chat. Folks, if you're not in the new Discord that was officially launched today, then please get yourselves in that Discord. The old one is going to be sunset, and it ain't going to be long before we sunset it.
We could do a games in a snap where it's a competition to make the jankiest city you can.
That's a good
Okay,
thing.
I win. I'll just win that one.
That's a good thing.
I mean, let's face
What I
it.
was
I
thinking,
won. I won I won games in a snap, the cities in a snap intersection challenge, and the final because of a meme and a janky interchange.
That was
I
a
actually
rigged
won
one.
based off jank.
That was rigged.
That was that.
what I
that
was
was
thinking about when I was suggesting the starting with vanilla stuff is that there is already stuff that we can potentially make themes around. So usually games in a snap has a theme,
Yeah.
has some kind of
we do.
thing to go for,
Yeah.
and I think we can already do that within the confines of vanilla.
Yeah, because we can use
Yeah.
the development, the milestones. We can use the milestones
We can
racing
we
to
can
a
not
milestone.
only use the milestones, but think about think back to the limited scenarios that we were doing back in late 2020, I believe, I think October.
When the floods,
I don't
when
know
we
if
were doing the
anyone
flood
remembers.
scenario, the
Don't-
traffic scenario.
We had the train scenario, I believe. I played in that one.
Yeah.
And so we don't have scenarios here, but we could try having themes of similar type be incorporated and sort of try to work around those. So, for example, who's going to build the most walkable city in 2 hours? Who's going to build, I don't know, the
Most profitable.
most profitable? Okay, sure. But let's think about other things. Let's say who's going to build the best I don't know
Production trains.
university town. Okay, not particularly deep on this one, but this type of thing, this could be iterated into a bunch of different ideas. I think there's some stuff to go
There
on
is also.
Yeah.
Let me sort of suggest that I'm going to leak season 2 and what season 2 is all about, because so far we've been talking about a season 2 of Snap, and of course we had original Snap with Lemon Pops hosting, where it was all chat vote. Then we had then we sort of transferred into the rubric approach, which had its own issues, but
The Kazgem era.
yeah, the Kazgem era, and kind of it had its own issues, but it vaguely worked.
That's not very nice to say that about Kazgem.
Oh, believe me, I can say a lot of things about a lot of people. Chris, when did you ever suspect me of being nice?
Never, since what you always give us
Since
as
never.
maps, especially giving us a map which was supposed to be train orientated with no trains.
That wasn't me. No, that wasn't me that did that, Chris.
Wasn't it?
No. No.
it was you.
I played in that one.
Oh, you played in that one.
I
You
wanted.
played
It
that's
was
what
small
it was.
towns. I wanted to build a railway, and Kazgem gave us the first ever map with no rail on it.
That's right. Yeah. And
'Cause-
I managed to win that one, and I was
Yeah.
on rail as well.
Yeah, because we both planned for trains. No,
Yeah.
no. That was not me.
Oh.
I gave you all the holiday map with no snow on it.
I don't think I was in that one.
I did that one, but no, that was not me. But then we went back to I sort of got demoted to host because I was winning too much. That is the official reason. We're just going to run with it.
Sure.
Yeah. Just run with it. Please be nice to me. Chris won because Ernie's were playing football. That was how you won the small towns, Chris.
Hey, you
knew it was
guys,
like-
I have to leave now. I have to go
Right.
take my daughters to a Halloween thing.
Be
so I
good.
wanted to say thank you again for having me on here. It was nice meeting EclipseChris and Outfrost. I can't wait to work with you guys in the future on the games in a Snap. It's going to be a lot of fun. And again, thank you for bringing me on to talk about
No,
No,
CS2.
thank you for coming on. We will
thank you for the
also
chat.
see you soon, Rufio.
I'll see you soon.
And
Take
look
care,
after
guys.
Hendrix for us.
Oh, I will.
Be good. Ta-da. Right, so what we then went back to, if we remember, was we went, you know what, we are ditching the rubric completely. We're going back to all chat vote.
Oh, that was a
Yeah.
bad decision.
That was a decision. Well, for the new season 2 of Snap, we're changing it up again. Chat vote is still going to be a big part of it, but we're going for points now. So, there will be 3 to 4 challenges that we will set. And it'll be things like, I don't know, get the highest traffic flow, or get traffic flow above a certain percentage. Or, let's say get so high a city attractiveness, or the most attractive city wins. And there'll be an amount of points based on those. Now, we won't reveal exactly what all of those are until like half an hour before. So you won't know exactly what you're facing. But we'll give you a list of things that we can check on. And then, so you've got a random map. You've got a random set of, we're going to go for these particular things. Then they're going to be like 50 or 80 or 100 points each, something like that. And then chat vote, 1% is 1 point. So even, just winning the chat vote isn't enough. You're going to want to win by a margin, because you're going to want as many points out of chat vote as you can get. So, if everyone gets 25% of chat vote, everyone gets 25 points. If someone gets 50%, they get 50 points.
Go for the Eurovision. Like it.
Sort of similar. I thought Eurovision was more, we get no points, and then, 12,
Well,
10,
we did well
8,
last
6,
year.
whatever.
Well, this year, wasn't it?
We came second to Ukraine, which is why we hosted it on their behalf.
Yes. So
But
we
yeah.
technically won.
I mean, we didn't. We came second.
We all know that. We all know what that was. That vote was.
No,
we all know it.
Chris, you're missing the joke about coming second being good. Sorry, children. Okay, those in chat with filthy minds, tell these two what joke they're missing there. But yeah.
Oh, don't tell me. It's just Chris. It's just that guy.
Yeah, just whisper me, DM me. It's fine.
Just slide into Chris's DMs.
I think Chris just secretly wants to talk to you about stuff. He doesn't actually miss the joke here.
Folks, this is Snap After Dark.
Oh, I actually have no idea what you're on about.
Minxie, just
Press X
put
to
him out
doubt.
to his... Yeah, definitely. Hammering X on my keyboard hard. No. So, what do you think about the idea of Snap going points based and the idea that, you know, instead of a rubric, we've got challenges that are very easy for chat to see. So chat knows who's won because chat will be able to see the results. You know, there's no sort of hidden marking. These challenges are the ones, or, you know, the mayoral dictats, as they pretty much are. They're going to be numbers that come from the game. So, yeah. We'll give that a go, folks. We'll see what we think.
I think it certainly makes a lot of sense for a vanilla competition, especially like when it's when you care less about you know, a variety of you know, visuals, assets, detailing, all that kind of stuff, and you can do a little bit more of the management kind of stuff on the side. Well,
you can also, you know, chat vote is still going to go towards aesthetics, I would imagine. So, you know, chat vote's still going to have a heck of a sway. And I think more so for a modded competition, because the amount of times we've done modded ones now where we've seen beautiful dioramas, but cities that haven't really done anything or worked well or whatever. And I think, well, it is Games in a Snap. We're supposed to be playing cities, not just using it as a paintbrush. Let's see if we can get working cities. Oh, I just heard disappointment from Chris.
I'd live for paintbrush cities.
Yes, but in fairness,
you nothing but approval from me.
You make yours work.
I make mine work.
I have been enjoying the freshness of being able to play cities too, and not have to worry about doing any design, just playing the simulation game, which I never really did too much of in Cities 1.
Yeah, but now you've learnt that you can plop things and that's it.
But it's still not quite. You say it can crash. It's not very stable, and I probably can't get it working on the Xbox thing.
On Game Pass, I will work out how to do that because I do have Game Pass, so I will help you figure that one out. Absolutely fine with that. If you want to jump on a call or something at some point. Yeah. We'll do that, and then we'll write it up and sort of publish it in the brand new Discord. Did you know we got a brand new Discord, everyone?
I didn't.
I think you need to tell them.
Not like I've posted the link in chat or anything.
Oh, I need to click that.
No, Outfrost, you don't need to click that.
Because it's spam.
Don't I?
You're in the new Discord.
News to me.
It's not news to you at all. You're
in there earlier.
We have a new Discord. Yes, Minxie, we have a new Discord. You're in it.
Folks, when you get in the Discord, go in the channels and roles and assign yourself the Cities Skylines role. Get the cities thing.
Yes.
Because I saw that not enough TM people actually saw the Cities Skylines category of chat channels where we are posting discussions about setting UI transparency to 0 and how it might
by the way,
affect performance, and we were posting screenshots that only Londo seems to have seen.
I did improve that interchange, by the way. It now looks, I mean, the curve is still bad, but I'm just going to claim that you go faster there and then slower.
You did improve that, yes, that is correct.
But yes, that is
That's
improved. And yes, it is. It's left-hand traffic because I only work in left-hand traffic because roundabouts
Well, it's the
going the
correct
other way
side,
is just
obviously.
weird. Yeah, I mean, if I tried to drive on the right side of the road, I'd crash into everything.
The right side's the wrong side. So yeah.
I drive in the right side of my car.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm glad we have that understood.
I'm not going to say anything.
There you get teamed up.
No,
on
funnily
that.
enough, I've got my city on left-hand traffic.
Oh. Welcome
Yeah.
to the club.
Funnily enough, when I'm playing American Truck Sim, I put my gear stick on the right-hand side, not the left, so that it is where it should be in an American truck. Except for the fact that in an American truck, most of them are autos, and I'm sorry, I drive manual. I just do.
There's
With-
plenty of manuals.
With the developer tool thing, can you actually spawn disasters?
There's one way to find out.
So I really
Oh no,
want to
are
see
we gonna
Outfrost
are we gonna
on
get
the
that
tornadoes.
content now out there?
Oh, come on. He's asked the question, and it's kind of rude not to have a look and see if we can.
No, just this is more directed at Chris, not you.
Sorry, what was that, Outfrost?
We're gonna get disaster content out there now. We didn't have enough of it in the first game, huh?
Well, it's more the sort of the comparison in terms of Cities 1 disasters probably
sure.
look better than Cities 2 disasters.
I've turned disasters
thing.
off in this city, so I don't have disasters yet.
Specifically, one disaster in particular, which I was very fond of in the first Cities, which I'm very disappointed in the second.
Start event. Which disaster would you like?
Tornado.
Okay, we have a tornado. Let's unpause the game and see what happens. There's actually, let's drop it back down to 1 speed.
There it is. Let's have a look at that tornado. Oh my god.
It's moving away from the city. Oi, tornado, come to the city. Oh, good lord, disasters in a snap, Mark II. Minxie, you've hit it, we're planning it. Mama Van's suggesting that Jedi needs 3 more days. That
Am I the
looks weird.
Am I the only one that thinks that tornado looks awful?
It,
And that the
it,
Cities 1 tornado was by far
well,
superior.
not only that, but it's not even hitting the city. Like, that's not a very good tornado. I'm sorry, I have to do it. Seeing as someone's mentioned Jedi, there are rules here. We have water. It's flood time.
There's no meteors.
Alright.
Oh.
Are you placing the water sources?
We can't. I don't think we can place them yet.
Oh, the water. Is that no? I thought the water was retreating a bit.
Well, I was
The tornado's
hoping.
hitting something. The tornado's hitting something.
Oh, hello. Barely. Destroyed by weather. Oh, it's having a go. It's having a good go at it. Hello, here we go. Here we go.
There's no cars flying, are there?
No. There's. I mean, you say that.
Wait, do you have your clouds turned off? And volumetrics? Because maybe the tornado quality could have something to do with volumetric clouds and volumetric effects.
Hang on, let's whack them all up then, shall we? Let's have some fun. Let's go graphics. This is where it's going to become a pain. Volumetrics I've got to medium. Let's go fog enabled. Volumetrics high. We're going to lose some frames, but who cares at this point? Depth of field off. Motion blur off, because motion blur should be always off. And, you know, if people want to... Skinning quality 4 bones.
Clouds were
okay.
towards the top. I think you had them on though.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've got clouds on, and texture quality is only down to medium for something that I wanted to fix, which doesn't look like it has, so we'll put it back onto high. Filter mode, trilinear, yeah. Clouds, I'm pretty sure I've got on. I think I've just
You need to
weathered
on
them.
the weather.
They're up just below this.
Yeah, they're
There
there.
you go. Yep.
They are all out on. So no, the tornado doesn't look exactly pretty. Close up,
The city's one is so.
we've
better,
hang
so
on,
much
we've
better.
we've got planks flying round.
That's just the graphic.
And you've got a shadow of something on the ground.
Yeah. What it hasn't done is picked up that car. I was hoping to see cars flying.
Yeah, that's what I loved about.
We've
the
got
cloud show, so you
shadows.
could just see things flying.
Yeah. Well, we might not have got a flood to kick off, but we have a lot of water over there, don't we? So
Yeah, Mama Man. It looks real good close up when you only look at the very base of it. And you don't see anything else.
it does. Minxie, excellent. But we've got, rocket launch. You've got Valentine's Day. Forest fire, lose control accident.
Rocket launch. Ooh.
But in honour of a friend who is playing the game, I suspect, rather than talking about
Tsunami.
it, got to get some water somewhere, haven't we? Come on, Tsunami. Let's see where you're going to come from. That tornado's still ripping, by the way. I wonder what would happen if I... Oh, no, you can't buy that part of the city. That's outside. Come on, find us the tsunami. Oh, yeah, at the moment, of course, the people I do know are working on mods for that, because I've seen... bit... Hello, boat. I would get out of the way if I were you. I believe there's a tsunami on the way.
You might want to turn the game speed up. That might help.
You know what? That might be wise.
There's the cuboid.
Hey,
the man,
cuboid, how
the
you
myth,
doing?
The legend.
Hi,
We
Authentic
called your
Z.
name out a few times, and here he is.
Yeah. You say his name 3 times and he arrives.
Yeah.
So, how snap did they just drop this? 24th of October, so a few days ago this came out. How do you vote for EclipseChris? Cuboid, you always vote for EclipseChris. We know this. We know that you're not biased at all. And it's not EclipseChris you're voting for, it's actually Ernie.
That is very true. You don't need to come to see this handsome chap.
Oh, yes, there's a handsome chap indeed. Yeah. No, Q, we've been playing. And by playing, you know what I mean. We found the tab key.
I've been sitting here just dotting in some details on my stream build. Not making huge changes, just like dotting in some trees over here and like making tiny moves all over.
Right, let's select a truck. Let's follow you for a giggle. So I wonder if this is how we do something entertaining as well. Let's try and do a lose control accident and see what happens. Yeah, there you are. We've just made the truck lose control.
Oh, nice.
Well played.
Against the other car, huh?
Okay, and there's a hatchback that's had an accident. Yeah, sorry. That's just going to be fun.
That is probably the only reason apart from plopping stuff down, is to actually cause car crashes when I want.
Right, that's it. That's DevTools actually proved useful.
You need to go on like a really busy motorway and cause an accident in front of the car, and with those cars behind it, and see what happens to the rest of them.
Well, no, what I actually want to do now is see what happens
Trains.
if you do it to a tram. Right, I've got an area with an amount of trams here. Let's use that one, for example. Let's go start event and lose control accident. And lose control accident while you're moving. Nope, that's just said no to me. Okay. That's fine.
Okay.
We're learning things here.
I was thinking like, would it do car accidents on level crossings? But not sure that's
possibly
implemented, because accidents are there for road vehicles, but maybe not necessarily
That
rail
would be something
vehicles.
I'd like to see in the future for them to do, is to actually have animated for crashing wise for What is that? Someone? Oh no, it's not a person. Yeah, trains derailments.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, what you could just do is do leaves on the line and have a announcement. This train is delayed by 20 minutes, and then you've just got UK rail.
Snow that's literally a centimetre, if less.
Yeah,
Like a millimetre of snow, and then everything's cancelled.
yeah. So we've had a bit of a laugh about the game. We've had a bit of a laugh at a few of the bugs. We've found a couple of crashes. We've talked about how this would work in a snap. See you soon, Mama Van. I think we're at a reasonable point where if we go for much longer, we'll have been going for 3 hours, and we're not allowed to do that, are we? You know, there are rules. Jedi would be far too upset if we went for 3 hours and didn't have Jedi around. He'd cry.
Well, we can go 3 hours and then raid Jedi, and then.
I mean, we could, but that's another 20 minutes.
We need Cuboid on here. Cuboid? Come in.
We did ask Q, but yeah. I mean, to be honest,
when move it's coming.
Yeah, we need to know when movie is coming. Actually, all I need to know is when I'm going to be allowed to get to the modding API. Q can't. He's washing his hair. That's fair. That's fair. I just want to know when I can get access to the modding API because, spoiler alert, yes, I have run the executable through .peak. Yes, I have seen that there is an iMod API in here. Yes, that does mean that I know that modding is built in, and I want to play with it. I want to play with loading mods into the game. I just want to play with mods.
I'm interested to see when they're bringing an asset editor in, aren't they?
Asset mods and news. Whoa, sorry, Chris. News.
Oh.
Cuboid is working on modding and experimenting with Move It, but it's a long way from functional.
Oh, okay.
No, he's working on it. He's working on it.
It's a long way away, though.
Yeah, if you want help, Q, hit us up. And I'm not under a Paradox NDA, so I can't have access to the modding tools yet. Damn it, I want to play with mods. Paradox, if you're listening, let me play with mods.
Regarding the editor that's coming up, TM, I was going to ask what was the first thing that you all were going to do with it. Because the first thing I'm going to do, if I can, is grab every single service building and make a smaller version of it, get rid of all the empty space around it, and maybe make a smaller train station if that's possible.
Okay, the public build yet won't yet load mods. It hasn't got the mod loading support in. That makes sense. That makes perfect sense. First thing I'm going to do with the modding tools, because I'm useless with assets, is I'm probably going to do something stupid like try and download a model of a Tim Hortons or something and get that in the game. Minxie is wanting to commission the donut van from City Skylines 1.
Oh, God.
I would like to request Cuboid to feed something back to Paradox.
Oh, here we go.
Or, of course, all the way. Please get him to make the tornadoes look better and pick up cars and fling them around, please. Yeah, please.
Yes,
oh, God.
yes, yeah. We do.
This
is would like that.
What in the industry, what this is called is scope creep.
No, in the industry, what? Yeah, no. In software development, this is called the same. You see, I work on business software. I'm not a game dev. In business software, this is called
same problems.
Yeah, in business software, this is called stick in a ticket, and we'll have a look at it as and when we can be fiddled.
But in my eyes, if they're making a sequel to a game, why would they make something worse?
I mean, have you never seen Dark Souls 3?
Cities 1 Tornado is so good.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Dark Souls 3 as a sequel to Dark Souls 2? Like, this is not unprecedented. I mean, SimCity 2013 as a sequel to SimCity 4?
Different people made it.
Like, you know...
What I'm thinking of is the compact schools and compact... service buildings, medical clinics and stuff that I could fit into an actual city center as opposed to suburban sprawl.
Yeah.
Like, that's something that's worse for me. Why does the high school have to be twice as big as the elementary school and, like, the size of
I mean,
the size of an entire stadium and a rail yard or whatever.
have
That's
a look at the high school.
maybe I can consider that a downgrade, but I just want
isn't
content.
isn't it more realistic though?
That
Sorry?
high
Because
school.
they do take up a lot of space.
Well,
I
in
would
America
say,
they do, yes.
No, even in the UK they still take up a lot of space.
The high school I went to is the size of, if we just look at the zoning in this
What's
game.
the capacity of that place?
This is 800, so it's about the
pretty-
same size as the one I went to.
So lower
I'll tell
capacity,
you this,
smaller,
right?
Yes.
Actually, wait, I can actually calculate the high school capacity because I know that there were, let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I think 9 times 3 times.
It's 27.
There were at least 800 students in there at once. Wait, and it was also combined with the middle school. They also had a middle school in, so I have to actually increase that number by 3 years of middle school
Don't.
times. Yeah, about 1,000 students.
Hang
About
on.
1,000 students of capacity, and that thing was the size of, let's see, if I, it would be about 10 or 12 cells wide, and like 6 or 8 deep max.
Remember,
Overall,
really?
Is that literally just the building, or was it the grounds as well?
it was the building. So they had an additional building that was the
That looks very
sports
similar to
hall.
that size.
But no, but like you see, the sports thing is a separate upgrade in the game.
Yeah, no, hang on there.
So if you shrink, like the sports hall that my school had was like at most a quarter of the size of this sports field that is in the game here,
Hang on a
and it
second.
was still
though.
plenty functional.
No, I'm going to defend them on the size of this high school, I think. The building itself is, what, about 40-odd metres by 80 metres? That's not big for a high school building. I think...
Yeah, but it has a park around it. Why does it have to have a park around it?
Well, it has some parking
Because it's
spaces. No, hang on.
Yeah, but I don't care about this. I want to put this in a city centre. I don't want people parking there. That's the thing. I don't want the parking spaces. I don't want the plazas. I just want the school, and I just want the sports bit in the back that isn't the size of frickin' Champs-Élysées.
Yeah, No, I mean, we had a lot of
make
fields
things.
around ours. I get your point.
Like this is
I would
in
like
in
to
the United States, in Canada, in places like that. This would be pretty common, probably, right? Like this is what schools probably look like.
I think in
if
the
you look
US and
at-
Canada they're way bigger than this. I think in the UK they're about this
Sure.
size. And this is
well-
the school I went to.
The building itself might be
was
bigger, and
only-
if the building itself is larger, I will accept it. But right now, it's just a lot of empty space that, sure, in the suburbs, you might as well have. But if you're placing this in the city center in a dense development, medium, high density, all the mixed zoning around it, that sort of thing, this just looks completely out of place.
so what you want to see is more that kind of thing.
Essentially, like you can have some bits around it added.
I mean,
I would like to see some wall-to-wall school buildings, maybe ones like slightly more European style looking, but
Yeah.
also, like smaller like auxiliary grounds basically.
I mean,
and
that-
also smaller options for upgrades.
that's what happens when you add the field to it. And then let's
it's
fully
huge.
upgrade it. Like, I think that building with its
That's about right.
upgrades are reasonable. I think that sports field, honestly, I would never put a sports field on.
I
one
think there
that
is one
size.
school in my city, in the whole city of, the metropolitan area has like over 1 million people.
Yeah.
The city's like 700,000. There is one school that has a sports field that big.
I've
And
never seen
everyone
one.
else.
That.
Everyone else has stuff that is way smaller. Nobody has like a full Olympic,
Yeah.
a full Olympic stadium of, for the running and sprinting and all that sort of thing. Like when my school had when my school went to have a a sports day where everybody was doing all the light athletics and whatnot.
Yeah.
They had a sports day. They specifically rented out a stadium like that at a sports facility in the city that is like,
Yeah.
you know, a big dedicated thing. They don't have that sort of thing.
We did the same.
school.
We got, you know. I mean, what I'd say is, obviously with mods and stuff, it would be really cool.
Asset creators.
Yeah. Also, just, you know, as a simple, or hopefully simple, first asset,
As a base game thing, it's fantastic.
take this school that we were given, strip all the stuff out.
That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, just give the building, because then we can add the car parks that we want around that building. We can add whatever sports fields we want, or normal fields. So yeah, I think I like that idea.
The second the editor lands, I'm basically going to immediately try to do that. Take these service buildings and see how much of it is a static model. Take that static model and plop it onto a smaller piece of terrain and detail a smaller ground around it. And, you know, maybe we'll balance it with, like, you know, maybe a smaller capacity or something, but it doesn't necessarily, like, even have to be that way, right? Like, just we'll make it a little bit more compact.
Yeah.
What I'm wondering is, will custom assets still what's the word? Will they still block achievements, or is there some kind of mode for them to be created in a way that keeps achievements?
Don't forget that in Skylines 1 there are mods that re-enable achievements.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I
but
am
like,
pretty
besides that,
convinced.
Jank.
Oh, hang on, sorry, I have to show this. I've just seen the blue lights on emergency services vehicles and the nice lights they cast. That's some lovely lighting work.
It is nice.
Cities 1 did that too.
It's still lovely. I still like it.
It looks better
Yeah,
in
it's
City 2
fine,
this
it's
next
good.
gen.
Yeah,
good.
it does. I
Next
would
gen
imagine.
Spotlight. Let's go.
I would
that a fire?
imagine,
There's
honestly,
a fire
possibly. Yeah, there's a fire there.
on the left.
Let's have a
there.
look. Yeah, we have fire.
Bingo.
Well, if I'm not allowed a flood, I'll have a fire.
That's 4.
Yeah, it spread. So I would imagine, and this is pure speculation on my part, I would hope that asset mods. Oh, I don't know actually.
They might have, like, there's the concern that assets might have skewed statistics, like skewed
That's
stats.
literally
don't
where
make,
I was going.
Make sense.
Was, you know, a one by one school that hosts.
If they care
8,000.
enough to like deep dive into it and make sure that custom assets can also be, like, by the way, like they're releasing the region packs on Paradox
Yes,
Mods,
so
no
they
DLC.
will have to. They
So
will
if they want
have
to keep
keep
achievements with that, they'll have to do something, I believe, where my game dev brain is thinking, right, is they might want to do something where you might, like, tick a box somewhere in the asset editor that says make the stats of this building, like, conform to the game balance. And then that will, like, not let you change, like, the capacity
Enable
or whatever.
mods.
Or maybe there's that one slider, like, okay, more capacity, less capacity, but then it affects the cost and the upkeep and all the other stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then if you have that, then maybe people using the asset can keep their achievements going, for example.
Yes.
I sort of noticed that with some of the, well, I don't know if it's any more than just the residential buildings, but each tile was one family or one citizen group or something.
Something like that. I don't know exactly. With that said, though, we have been going the thick end of 3 hours, which means we should
We have
probably...
just 10 minutes to reach 3 hours in Raid Jedi.
I was going to say, shall we just raid Jedi now and have done with it? Is he streaming,
We should have
folks?
closing
Okay with that.
statements of our sort of game thoughts and just sum up quickly, basically.
Yeah, I was going to say, for my mind, I think we're at a great early access point. I think we are not quite ready to do snaps based on 2 yet, but hold that thought because we won't be far off. I think we should probably trial out some of the Season 2 ideas in Cities 1 or in Planet Coaster or Planet Zoo or whatever. Folks, if you are interested in taking part, City Skylines 1, City Skylines 2, Planet Zoo or Planet Coaster, those are the games that we are set up to run now. Obviously, Skylines 2 will probably wait a little bit. Other games we'll think about, but those are the core games. If you want to have a go at this, if you want to have a go at Snap, if you've, been waiting for the months that we've been away, raring to go, let us know. We will get something running. But yeah, let's have some final thoughts off the both of you, please.
Do you want to start off first, or?
Sure, yeah. I like the game in where it's going. Solid foundation, great simulation depth, great improvements to core mechanics, core systems from CS1, and obviously there's a lot to iron out. But I was watching a video where somebody broke down the main aspects of the game that are currently pros and cons, like what's good and what's not so good about the game right now. And the things that are good about it are more fundamental. They're more important sort of to get right early on because they're difficult to modify later. So things like the detail in the simulation, things like those core systems that I mentioned, versus the things that were in the cons, the not so good category, were things that can be very much iterated upon. Performance, content variety, little quality of life changes that can still be made down the line. People were screaming about being able to plop fully grown trees, for example, or whatever. And I think that speaks very well of for the future of the game, assuming that Colossal Order keep working on it in the capacity that they have been on, this game so far, but also Cities 1. And that makes me hopeful about the future of the game, and it's already quite enjoyable. So, from me, it's so far a careful thumbs up.
Cool. Yeah, well, Outfrost said.
Yeah. Actually, pretty much, I think it's covered.
Outfrost covered a lot of very good points in there, and pretty much managed to say a lot of things that
I run my mouth a lot.
We're all sort of thinking. I'm thinking as well that it's hard to sort of articulate sometimes, but yeah, Outfrost did a great job of saying it all. As he said, great foundation. It's started out a lot better than what Cities 1 started out like, barring the graphical and performance issues. It's got a lot of stuff, a lot of time to grow, and it's going to grow into something absolutely amazing. And I sort of compared it to we got something premature, essentially. And it just needed that extra time to evolve a bit more. But now it's here, we've all got it, and it's just going to get better and better as it goes on, improve as more feedback comes in. It's the start of a very good future, I think. I find myself wanting to go back in and play it more and more. I'm looking forward to its future, and hopefully I'll be able to replace all the vanilla stuff with all assets that people have made and mods and things and make a new UK city.
Yeah, hopefully so.
He's rolling around galore.
And I think, the only thing I'll add to that is obviously the console version's been delayed until spring next year. I get the impression that, in my mind, that means we're in early access until spring next year, realistically. So what's this going to be like? We've already had one patch. We're mere days out from the launch, like 2 or 3 days on. We've already had one patch that's been quite big. Like, what's this game going to be like when it launches on console? What's this game going to be like with Paradox mods? What's this game going to be like with all sorts? It's a great game in my mind to start with. It goes up from here. So I think we should probably, with that, start our raid of. Let's go and see Imperial Jedi. Let's go and.
The 3-hour man.
Let's go and see the 3-hour guy.
I've definitely enjoyed myself this evening. Thank you very much for putting this on, Londo.
Yeah, no, thank you very much for coming on. Shall we all say goodbye to everyone just before we go off?
Yeah,
bye,
thank
folks.
You guys. Thanks for the chat.
Guys.
And
thanks, chat.
everyone for
Oh, sorry,
joining.
talk to you.
Have a good one.
Thank you very much. Night night.
Goodbye for myself and Ernie.
And we should be